All right. Hold on one second. I just want to do that for Jeremy Harvey. We can't listen to fool both of them. We're on a little bit of a time crunch. Not really a time crunch, but I just want to get things going here out of the gate. What is going on, everybody? Welcome into our Miami night lights as the sun is getting ready to set here over our NG in Miami, where it is nice and warm, 75 degrees, clear skies. We got, what is that, Delta 767 taxing, or is that 330? I don't know what that is. It's something over there. I think that's a 330. I can tell I haven't been flying the line a lot lately because my aircraft identification skills have gone down pretty good here. But we are ready to rock and roll back in the NG pre-release. Loving this airplane. Love that it's available soon. Well, available to me right now, so we can kind of learn some flows together, get some things, getting more familiar with the airplane. We're going down a very special flight tonight, down to Honduras, MHTG, and we're doing a little bit of green dot with a 737 as well, because why not learn more about the 737 since we're all learning about the 737 here tonight. So it'll be a fun flight. 2 hours, 12 minutes is our flight time tonight. And like I said, we'll have a green dot up at cruise altitude, so that'll eat up most of that cruise. And then we're going to try to do the arrival as best we can, realistically as we can. I'm really going to focus. I feel like I'm getting a handle down on some of the pre-flight and before start flows. Once we get up to cruise, we'll do green dot, and I'm really going to try to focus in on doing an appropriate arrival and trying to get things set up appropriately for that. So that is on the slate. 3 greens. Thanks for the 5 gifted subs, my man. Appreciate you. Very, very kind of you dropping the 5 gifted subs here this evening on a Friday afternoon or evening, morning, wherever you may be tuning in from. I think it's Saturday for you. But thank you so much for the support, my man. I appreciate you. Zach, what's up, man? One up your landing from last time. Ooh, 3 feet per minute. You know what? We did land the MD-11 in X-Plane 11 in Tonconting, and I think it was like 7 feet per minute or something. Someone will have to go back and watch that stream. We're flying global, Western Global down there. But yeah, thank you all for who tuned in too for the bonus stream earlier. I was feeling bored and lonely, and I wanted to fly a tri-jet, so we flew the MD-11 on X-Plane 12 just for fun. And man, we got a 4 foot per minute in Atlanta. Instrument approach down to like 700 feet per minute, and it was fun. It was fun. Man, we might have to revisit X-Plane again. I hate that sim, but I love it. I love to hate it, you know? I don't know. Anyway. All right, let's rock and roll. Turks, what's up, man? Dude, you're going to be light years ahead of the guys come next month. Country Club Training Center. You're going to show up ready for a type ride. Well, Turks, that's the plan, man. I want to be ahead. I'd rather be ahead than behind, my friend. It's not like my previous operator where you had to show up, know everything. You had 3 sims and a check ride. So I think I've just, I have PTSD from that, so I don't know. If I don't know exactly what I should know by the time I'm supposed to get to training, I'm going to just know as much as I can by the time I get to training. So, but let's rock and roll. You guys ready? Let's do it. Landing was juice, indeed, Turk. If you ain't first, you're last, indeed. I might have to, we are in Miami. Give me a second. Let me launch auto FPS because we're in Miami. Miami Latin VFR scenery is pretty heavy. So let me launch auto FPS. I haven't even been running auto FPS at all as of late. PMDG seems to just crush it in terms of performance. But Miami Latin VFR, nighttime here, the lights are going to come on. I think it would be beneficial. So auto FPS is running. Let's give it a, oh yeah, much better now. Oh yeah, now we're buttery. We're buttery smooth. Okay. Rock and roll. Do you want to do a pseudo pre-flight? I don't really want to do a pre-flight yet. It's loud. Because PMDG stated that they are doing the exterior art soon. So there's no sense in looking around the exterior if they're going to be updating it. But I am walk around certified now according to my Ethos training app. But there she is. Maybe we'll take a screenshot in place of walk around. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. Never flown this livery in the sim, but this is the same exact airplane my family and I took back from our little vacation we had a couple of months ago. So that's a beautiful shot right there. Boom. Rock and roll. What's up, Zeke? Good to see you, man. It's been a long time. How you been, man? 3 sims and a check ride? That's, yeah, reset jet. Yeah, it was 3 sim. Sim 1, dude, we didn't do a normal landing. I don't even think we landed on Sim 1. We were doing V1 cuts on Sim 1. Sim 2 was... I can't remember the profile, but all I know is on Sim 3, we were doing hydraulic gear extension, circle to land, Guatemala City, Special single engine Bogota, and Sim 4 was the check ride. So, or Sim 4 was mock check ride, and then check ride was 5. So 4 sims and a check ride, I think. 4 sims and a check ride. But yeah. But you had 3 sims to learn. Sim 4 was mock check ride. Sim 5 was check ride. But yeah. All right. Let's go ahead. Electrical power up procedure. Before we do that, let's go ahead and turn on this situation over here. We'll do the ground ops. Let's see if we can't request jetway connection inhibited. Why? I have a jetway here. Not connecting. That's all right. Let's get ground power connected. And let's get ground air. Let's see. Is there external view for ground air? We'll see if... I don't know if we can get ground air. Arriving. Is there a visual for ground air? Oh, yeah, they're bringing up the cart. Look at this. Hey, we'll have ground air. Okay, cool. With that, and then we need to go to door management. Let's go ahead and let's open that one. Entry left. We'll open forward and aft cargo. That's perfect. And vehicles. Let's go ahead and get the aft cargo, forward cargo. We need a lav service. We need water going down there. And we need the forward galley service so we can get our crew meals. You have to click the stairs to the right and then jetway. Oh, well, I can't do it now, right? Because I just... Oh, well, I'll be damned. Look at that. Look at that. I learned something. All right. Get rid of the stairs. Well, we're going to have stairs and a jet bridge. That's my bad. That's all right. We're fine. We're fine. Bring back the bare metal American. Oh, my gosh. That's my favorite livery. I saw Full Flap Sim do his stream today with the Astrojet livery. I agree with him 100%. Astrojet is the best livery to ever grace a 737. Unfortunately, none of the 2020, well, I say unfortunately, but none of the 2020 liveries are working by default here with the updated PMDG. I'm sure the livery painter's got to reset some stuff, and then maybe it'll be easier to get it compatible with the new version. So yeah, right now, no bare metal for us. But we'll go ahead and check the circuit breakers. We'll check all of our documentations and all of that. We got any cookie stowaways? I think we do. My cookies. Yep, there's the cookies. See, we got to make sure we have our cookie stowaways. We can't have a dirty flight deck, though. Let's put those back, lock that down. All right, check that. We'll check over here. Up to the overhead, power up procedure. Battery switch, standby power is up. Alternate flaps, electric hydraulics are off. Gear lever down 3 green. A wonderful connect ground power, please. Beautiful. She's coming to life, coming to life. I also fixed, let me make sure I have the hotkey bound. F11, no. F10, no. F9, no. Standby. F12, hey, F12. But I don't need to have FCU plugged in because you don't work. F12, F9, F12, here we go. FMC actions, chat, we're cooking. Is it, tell me it's in focus. If it's not in focus, I'm going to be sad. Doesn't appear to be that much in focus, does it? Kind of. The buttons are, huh? That is one of the hardest cameras to get right in my camera setup situation here. We don't need you right now, so let's just go ahead and turn it off. But we'll continue with the power-up procedure here. So we'll go ahead and get the alignment 1, 2. That looks good. That's fine. STS service interphone is off. 3 greens. Oxygen pressure. Passenger oxygen on and guarded. EEC switches closed and on. Audio panel is selected normal. Flight recorder is normal and off. Mach airspeed warning. Boom, boom. Stall warning won't work till we get 4 minutes of power on the airplane. So that is fine. While we wait, let's go ahead and get some initialization data. And let's go ahead and go pause init. And we'll go next page. It's going to take a minute. We're going to let the GPS come to life, I guess. Okay, that's going to go ahead and come to life. So let's go ahead and leave that down there. Let's go ahead and continue with our overhead flow. Guarded, that is good. Yaw damper. is off, lights out, spoilers are guarded, navigation panel normal, display panel normal, 4 blue lights, and that looks good. Fueling panel is set all off with 4 illume lights. Coming back down from the top, APU is off. We are on ground power, you can see that there. Cabin utility and IFE passenger lights on, gen drives illuminated and guarded. Ground power is on bus, gen off bus lights illuminated, APU not required right now. Armed emergency exit lights, chimes off, seatbelts off, wipers are off. I forgot the wipers in my pre-flight there, Flo. It's alright, we'll catch that. We'll get the window heats on. Anti-ice is off. We won't be needing those today where we're going. You can see we've got our doors open. CVR test. There's the light. Beautiful. 0-0. Trim air is on. Forward cab. Put this as required. Everything's in auto. Auto. Isolation. We have off, off, open, on, off, on. Flight altitude. Where are we doing? Let me go ahead and do this now. So we'll come right back. We'll go here. And flight altitude. Let's pretend it was 350, and let's take a look at our electronic flight bag. Press data from SimBrief. That is us going all the way down to Honduras tonight. Yes, you called for me. Glad you think of good old 3 Greens when you're doing your flows. You got it. You live rent-free in my head, 3 Greens. Absolutely, my friend. Appreciate you. Thanks for the 7 Aussie super chat, my man. Very kind. You do live rent-free in my head. All right, we got to scroll down here to the cruise flight level at 350. I was correct. 350 is set. Landing altitude, however, is going to be high up. Now, I did something wrong, and somebody caught it on one of my last streams. If the landing elevation is above 6,000 feet, you set 6,000 max. But let me see what Honduras field elevation is. I don't think it's quite that high. Is it? And we're going to probably be doing the RNP 20. No, we're going to be doing the 02 from the north. Field elevation is 3,300 feet. So, yeah, not quite. That would be quite the challenge if it was any higher than that, because it's already pretty tight. So we'll set 3,300 feet. 3,300 feet is set. All right, that looks good. Let's go ahead and clear off this. Unable, required nav, perf, RNP. I believe that's a normal right now. Radio mins will set 200. Boom, we'll leave that up there. That looks good. We'll get terrain up on the ND here. We'll go flight director. Auto throttle is armed. Flight director up on this side. Coming along the captain's panel. The clock is set. Nose wheel steering is guarded. Normal, normal. We're going to do a test light in amber. Test light red and amber. Tapes and 8s. Beautiful. Let's see. Auto. We're going to do reset, fuel state, and back to rate. Auto brake, RTO. Hydraulics are off. Oh, did I miss a flow? I think I missed on my power up. We should have checked oil quantity, 12 quarts minimum, and hydraulics, no RF messages. Looking good there. It's all right. We missed one. But that's no right now. We have no hydraulics powered up to the airplane. We'll come back to that once we power up the electrical hydraulics. Normal. And checking this side here, we've got that's closed. This is all good. In-op, because we're not aligned. I'll throw you on FMC page as well. Checking for no V speeds. We've got TCAS off. That's normal. Looking good. Coming to the center pedestal. Park brake, we'll set that. Spoilers and flaps are up. Fire test. Fault APU in out, and we'll do this one. We should get 1, 2 APU, all the lights and all the bells. Recall 4, beautiful. That comes off. Boom. Boom. That looks good. Cargo fire test. Discharge light. Forward nav cargo. Illuminate. Wonderful. The radios will actually turn them on. Probably turn on the FO side. This is the HUD. We're not going to mess with that. That would be in standby radar. And we'll squawk 2,000 right now because we don't know what we're going to be squawking on XPDR mode. Stab trim override is closed. 0 on the rudder trim. Aileron is a neutral. We're cooking with gas. Reset that. Let's get some ATIS. Nabil. What's going on, my man? How you doing tonight? You cooking at Friday Night Cooks?
Numerous cranes in operation around Miami. Advise on initial contact. You have information Alpha.
Information Alpha.
Miami Airport information Alpha. 2221 Zulu. Wind 030 at 6. Gusts 16.
Ooh.
Visibility 10. Ceiling 4,800 broken. 6500 broken. 25000 broken. Temperature 22. Dew point 14. Altimeter 3012. Landing and departing runway 08 left. 08 right. 09 12. Numerous cranes in operation around Miami. Advise on initial contact. You have information Alpha.
Alright, information Alpha. Did you guys catch all that? We'll get clearance up 33.5. Now, there is, here's our route uplink ready. We're going to load that. There is, I believe, what's it called? CPDLC, but it doesn't link with Beyond ATC. It links with the real stuff, and I'll show you that guy here in a minute. Airport info for Miami page is what we need. We might as well pin that in there right now. So they're blasting off 9s, 8s. We're going to have a long taxi, probably 8 right for departure. They could give us 9. Real world, probably not, but SimWorld, they might probably get 8 right out of here for departure. So I looked here. Let's see. Say intentions API. So there's no like Beyond ATC. So there's Hoppy for CPDLC, but not Beyond ATC. So we don't have that. But let's go ahead and uplink our flight plan over here. We'll do a couple things at once. Route uplink. Execute. Beautiful. That is us. Perf and NIT. Actually, before we do the perf, we'll do departure arrivals, and we'll hold it there. We'll call for clearance right now. I'm normally a 7.3 hater, but I can't wait for this airframe to release Taco Bite. I'm loving it, man. I'm loving the 7.3. We're approaching blue hour. It's going to be a night departure. Beautiful. Miami clearance. Good evening. American 357 clearance to Honduras with Alpha, please. Please tell me my mic is working. Why is my mic not working? Miami clearance, American 357 to Honduras with Alpha, please. There we go. Helps if you select the right microphone.
American 357, Miami clearance, thanks for Alpha. Cleared to Toncontin Airport. Maynard tree departure, Fundy transition, then as filed, climb via SID. Departure frequency 119.45, squawk 2053.
Alright, cleared to Toncontin Airport, Maynard 3 departure, Fundy transition, then as filed, climb via SID, departure frequency is 11945, squawk 2053, American 357. 8 right.
American 357, readback correct. Contact ground 121.8 when ready for push or start.
Alright, FO's in charge of it now, plugging this
ground
in.
Ground 121.8 when ready for pushback or engine start. American 357.
8 right, my Maynard 3, Fundy, execute. Route page, Maynard 3 Funday, Upper Mike 335 Alvec, pay bill to Talag, and then going into Honduras, we're going to do the arrival RNAV 02 from Melvo transition, and we're on the Tala 1 Alpha, execute. Let's bring up the legs page and step through this here a little bit. Let's go plan mode, and let's take a look, see here. So we're stepping through. We might get some direction there. Speed it up. Out over the water. There it is, Melvo. RNP approach, chat, into Honduras at night. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Alright. Flight plan looks good. Let's finish our perf data, and to do that, I'm going to go to the weight and balance. And we're going to load the plane from Simbrief. We're going to be pretty heavy for landing weight. That is set. So plane is loaded from Simbrief. And since we're loaded from Simbrief, let's go ahead and knit ref. Get our zero fuel weight. We'll cross reference 133.1. Flight cruise altitude 350. And what is our reserve? Come back over here, take a look at our chart. Where's our fuel ladder? Reserve fuel 2560 to 2,500 pounds. I've got 4 kids. Let's call that 2.9. That's how I used to do it in real world. But I was also the captain, so that will be up to the captain now. But if I was the captain and I was planned at 2.5, I always say, how many kids you got? And if they had more than 4 kids, we would use their number. But I have 4 kids, so I always add 4. 2.9 cost index. I tell you what we're going to do. I don't know what we're filed, but we're going to do 88 at least to get us going. We'll execute that. All right, that is good. Now, with the fueling completed, that's a trigger for our next flow. But so let's hold off on the N1 limits until I do my flow trigger. So fueling completed, that would trigger a couple things to happen. The Capitan's going to do some stuff up here. He's going to do this, and then he's going to do this. And he's probably going to say start the APU, or he's going to start it himself or herself. So let's get that cooking. And then we'll do my flow. What's up, Scrubs? Tyson, what's going on, man? Bo Browning in the house. How you doing, my man? I love the 7.3, perfect mix of analog, automation. I agree, man. 7.3 is goated, dude. 7.3 is the best airplane ever. V1 Sim, you can move the EFB by clicking the bottom right screw in the middle of the screen. I'm going to have to try this because we tried doing this the other day and we couldn't get it to work. Wingnut, what are you doing here? I thought you were playing around. Alright, that's up and running. We'll start the chrono. We'll wait for you to get on bus. APU Gen. Yes, sir. APU is on bus. The lead is off. That is running. Let's go ahead and disconnect. Now, someone said there's a screw. I don't know what screw you guys are talking about in the EFB. There's no screw in the EFB here. Call fake news. Fast forward speed, what's up, man? When did all our names change? I don't know. Did everyone's names change? You're Cacao. Bottom right of the eCam screen. No, I think you are thinking of the 777, my friend. I think you are thinking of the 777. This is a 737. I don't believe that EFB is allowed to move. Now I've been distracted. What was I doing? I was in flow state and you distracted me now. Saboteur. Oh. We're going to disconnect everything. Vehicles release all. Oh no. Release all. I just requested all. Release all. Go away. Piss off. Close all. Ground connections. We'll go ahead and release the ground power. We're off bus. And I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and get rid of the jet bridge. Jet bridge is going away. We got more people showing up though, because like everyone's on arrival hold. Alright, so anyway, my flow, we'll come back here, we'll make sure that our door is closed and locked, then we're going to go up here, we're going to go probe auto, hydraulics on. When hydraulics come on, we'll verify hydraulic pressures in the green, 2800 PSI, that checks, verify system hydraulic pressure, that checks, and then back up here, and then we'll configure the bleed panel. We'll actually get some air on right now. Has it been 2 minutes? Yes, it has. So let's get some air on right now because we're sitting at the gate. Get everybody nice and cool. We still have some doors open, so we can't do our anti-collision light. We got to wait for all these vehicles to leave because I screwed up. Release the maintenance van. Release the stairs, please. Release the aft galley. Close all doors. That's on me. That was my bad. My bad. The 7.3 doesn't hit the screw next to the center DU. Oh, this screw. What? All this time, no one told me that you can do this? Chat. Why have you guys been holding out on me here? You know how much easier this would have been? Well, now how do I get it back? Okay, Wingnut, now that you got my iPad out, how do I get it back? Go away. Left clip on the holder. Okay.
FlexJet 448, ramp November 3, taxi via Lima 5, Lima, Lima 2, Kilo 2,
Still
Kilo.
opening doors. I can hear the doors
Ramp
opening.
November 3 via Lima 5, Lima, Lima 2, Kilo 2, Kilo, FlexJet 448.
Let's get some juice going on here. You know what I think I need to do is I think I need to connect my yoke. Did I ever connect my yoke? I did not. Alright, yoke is connected. Alright. Close all the door, please. Stop showing up. Release everybody. Capitan's going to say before start checklist. Parking brake set. Oxygen. Never checked it.
Southwest 2572 at Gate Golf 11. Request pushback.
Southwest 2572, Miami ground, pushback approved, face southwest.
Oxygen check. Navigation and transfer display
Pushback
switches.
and engine start approved. Face southwest, Southwest 2572.
Normal and auto. We need to turn this radio down. Just turn you off right now. Normal and auto. Window heats on. Pressurization, auto and set. Terrain display selected. MCP. We'll also double check this. Course line. I don't one ray 8 right, so we got to set a couple things here. MCP is not set. That's not runway heading. What's runway heading? 092. 092. We'll be LNAV, VNAV off the ground. Well, we got to get our perf speed still. Okay. Takeoff, we're not doing any D rates here. We're going to do a flap 5, 23.7, 5.8 on the trim, 41.43, 52. So we can set 152. Alright, now we can continue with the checklist. Engine start levers cut off. Transponder. TARA. Aileron and rudder trim 0, 0. Departure briefing complete. Fasten seatbelt sign is on. APU on buses. Fuel panel set. Flight forms at AML. On board accepted. Aircraft number, what are we? Don't even know. It should be up here somewhere. I don't know. We'll call this one 3 Kilo Echo. PED's off. Alright. We're done with that. And last thing we're going to do is, now that fueling is complete and the doors are closed, before start checklist, we'll come back up here. Doors are closed. Anti-collision light on. Now we can call the checklist. Before start checklist. Probe heat is on. Hydraulic panel set. Doors, windows closed and locked. Anti-collision light is on. Let's go. Nate's. What's up, man? Thank you for the $20 super chat. Have the radio off.
South.
That's us.
Pushback approved, face south, American 357.
Nate's Cessna Simulator, my man. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Really appreciate you, sir. He says, good stuff as always. V1, keep up the good work. Happy holidays, bro. Hey, happy holidays right back at you, my man. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Hope you enjoy the flight down to Honduras tonight, my friend. Welcome. Yeah, I see it. There it is. I got it right there. 3 Kilo Echo. All right. We're ready to go. Cockpit to ground. Release brakes. Brakes release. Clear to push. All right. Now I get to just sit here and be an FO and do nothing. Start engines. I don't think I pulled the chocks, did I? Here we go. Night mode. Oh, what? There we go. Night mode MIA. Look at that. Best part, take me to the runway, Jeeves. I know, man. I get to de-stress now. I don't have to think about it. All right. Start 2, peasant. All right, starting engine 2. Off, off, grounding. Grounding 2, sire. Sounds are coming up for engine start. That's close enough to be on the line. Cockpit to ground, push complete, set brakes. Brake set, clear, disconnect. We got N1 rotation, fuel on. Taxi. Gosh dang it, I forgot the start switch. Oh, have to do both. That's all right. Grounding 1, we just get extra juice, extra igniters. N2's on the rise. Now we're an hour ahead of real time, I believe. Oh, we actually have center tank fuel.
2572, contact Miami Tower
N1 rotation,
118.3.
fuel on. We gotta get the center tank pumps on.
Toga
Captain
Tower
forgot that.
118.3,
Captain did a bad job.
Southwest 2572.
Nabil, I'm telling you, baby. 2024 night lighting is next world. It's so good now, man. All right, 2 good starts. Captain's like, oh, I'm sorry. Totally forgot we have center tank fuel. All right, center tank fuel pumps are on. All right, after start flow for the captain goes something like this. Generator, generator. Shut off the APU. And my after start flow is going to be engine and ice is not required. Auto, 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 off. And that is good. And then we'll come back down here. Set stab trim 5 units. Five units of stab trim, speed brakes up with flaps 5, 1, 2, 5. Flight controls. Oh, that's so good. Alright, flight controls are free and correcto. After start checklist, please. Anti-ice as required. Generators are on. Air conditioning and bleeds. Verify. They are set. Flaps. Now this is interesting. This flaps, the actual call is flaps set. We don't say anything. We come back and we verify the degree of flap and the green light at before takeoff. Let me turn the sound down a little bit more. But this is it. I got to get the verbiage right. Flaps set. Flight controls checked. Recall. Check. After start check is complete. Just do flip my little sticky pad around here. I'll leave us before taxi. Call for taxi, please.
American 357, taxi for departure.
American 357, runway 8 right taxi via Papa Sierra, Quebec, Victor Mike 1.
Runway 8 right taxi via Papa Sierra Quebec Victor Mike 1, American 357.
All right, Papa Sierra Quebec. They didn't watch this. Victor what? Well, Mike 1 is over here. Where's Papa Sierra Victor? Oh, we're just going to go there the way they would tell us real world. Because this is Quebec and Papa. It's a captain problem. Let's go. Brakes released. Zippy Zippy! What's up, my man? How you doing? Oh. I love it, baby. I love it. I'm loving the NG chat. Engine start switch sets to both. Yeah. Yeah, totally. What's up, Vodka? You're actually almost there. Look, we got off the gate in 43 minutes. From stream start to rolling 43 minutes. That's all right. We're going to cut down more time. We'll cut down more time. You guys separate the overhead down the middle. Here, the FO owns the whole overhead on the ground. I guess. I don't know what you're saying. Oh, like, because the, for the generators and stuff? Yeah, Captain Flow does gen on and fuel pumps. I believe this is Glide Slow Pro. Glide Slow Pro MIA. We do need more likes. We only have 84 likes on a Miami night light stream. Come on now. I do wish we could fly together, but we are still not authorized for that's on Microsoft. But
American 357, hold position for traffic.
What?
I'll call you back.
Oh,
Hold position for traffic, American 357.
sorry, dude. Is that Delta? Who'd we cut off there? My bad.
American 357, continue taxi.
Continue taxi, American
Oh, it's Cayman
357.
Airways. They're fine. It'll be all right. Like, what's going on, man? Andre. Just for the record, that was not me. I know it wasn't you. Now, he wanted us to do some funky maneuvering up here, but we're just going to take it to the outer. Actually, I'll tell you what, we're going to stay on the inner. We're just going to go the way that they would normally send us. Probationary pilot at work, indeed, Mr. Martini. How's it going, man? If Beyond ATC had us on live, it would be the goat. I know, man. Paid by the minute, Mon. We don't mind if you cut us off, Mon. That's true, Turks. That is true. Paid by the minute. I can't remember last time I did a night takeoff in the sim. I know we always do like blue hour departure, but it's kind of cool to do a night departure. He's Cayman, not Jamaican. That's right, though. What are the Cayman? What's the Cayman accent like? LOE failure back to the sim. Yeah. Here's the hold pad where I sat for like 47 minutes because the controller was so pissy, and then he got pissy at the FO. And I was like, no. Nighttime is right time. I know you are a night. You're the what do you call that, night owls. Night departures are only the juiciest. I will say I do enjoy night flying, like real world departing. Now red eye, but I my favorite time of year to fly real world is December. because everyone's happy. Holiday season, the days are shorter, so you get a lot of sunset flights, night departures. The cities look amazing because everybody's got Christmas lights up, so they're even brighter than normal. December, real world, my absolute favorite time to fly in December. Drew T. Smith, thank you for the 13 months of support.
Exit Jet 929, ramp November 2, request pushback and engine start.
Any money left in the Beagle Fund for the Caribbean run, Honduras presents? Jet Setter Media. There's something happening on Sunday when it comes to the Beagle Fund. Indeed it does. Let's see if I can't get a picture on stream. Who's calling? Spam. Is the nose gear sound in the room with us? Turk, yeah, the nose gear sound is pretty quiet up front here. I know in the Boris pack, the nose wheel's a lot louder.
JetBlue 2592, Miami ground, pushback approved, face south.
Pushback approved, face south, JetBlue 2592.
Alright.
American 357, contact Miami Tower 118.3.
Contact tower 118.3.
Alright, so we're going to do a little flow here. That's stab, trim is covered, door light is locked, PA is made. Pressurization is set. 52, 9,000. He said climb via SID. We're just going to leave it at 10,000 right now.
Miami Tower, JetBlue 2986, visual runway 9er.
Let's run our checklist.
JetBlue 2986, Miami Tower, wind 170 at 9er, gust 18.
Before takeoff data in bugs. Closeout received and check. Flaps. 5, green light. Stab trim. It's here somewhere. 5 units. Takeoff briefing completed. HUD set. Generators on. Air conditioning and bleeds auto and set. Below the line. MCPND checked. Runway 08 right. That's just weird because it's 092 course line, but 08 right. I lost myself. PA's completed, lights are set, before takeoff check is complete. Let's go.
American 357, ready for departure, runway 8 right.
When you're ready, I have a number for you to call. What's up, Jay Long?
American 357, Miami Tower, wind 170 at 9er, gust 18, hour knob to Ballard, runway 8 right, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 8 right, RNAV to Baller, cleared for takeoff.
I don't know where the click spot is for the that bar. It's like super inconsistent for me. Alright, let's go.
All aircraft be advised, information Charlie now current, altimeter 3013.
A hard right now, you can hear it. Let's see. I'll make a hard right. We'll see if we can hear the nose wheels rubber. We'll make a hard right here as we take the runway. Yeah, I can hear it, actually. That sounds pretty good. I can hear it. We don't get the zzz coming on the threshold. 50 minutes from stream start to takeoff? Not bad, indeed. Not bad, Zach. Now, this is crazy because the runway lights in X-Plane 12 look way better. Runway lights look better in X-Plane 12. They have less bloom. This looks like you have a
Jet 929, ready to go, runway 8 left.
Alright, exit jet. Let's beat them out here. Spool them up. 40%.
Jet 929, Miami Tower, wind 350 at 7, RNAV to sea salt, runway 8 left, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 8 left, air nav to sea
Toga.
salt, cleared for takeoff, exec jet 929.
got parallel takeoffs going on here. Yoga. And one. All right, don't say that. Don't say that. 80. Which is weird because I feel like you should say 80 knots.
American 352.
Apparently you say 80.
Runway 12.
American 352, Miami Tower, wind 350 at visual, runway 12, clear to land.
Runway 12 clear to land. American 352.
Positive rate. Gear up. Fly with.
Captain 2986, exit left, next available taxiway. Next available taxiway, Captain 2986.
Honduras, here we come.
American 357, contact Miami departure. Have a good afternoon.
Contact Miami departure, American 357, have a good one. Miami departure, American 357, 1,500 feet.
American 357, Miami departure.
Plus one.
Radar contact. Climb and maintain 17,000.
Climb and maintain 17,000, American 357.
Oh, that looks amazing out there at the lights. I love it. Flaps up. After takeoff checklist, please. I gotta set this. Hold on, we're gonna hold the checklist because we're looking at downtown Miami. That is sweet. Probably, yeah, we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're doing 267 knots. All right, get back up here. 250 after takeoff checklist. Gear off. That's off, up, no lights. Beautiful. Get back up here where we're supposed to be pitching. We're climbing to 17,000. He said 17,000. I really want my MCP from Wind Wing to work. Hasta la vista, Miami. I love the, you can tell it's humid, baby. It's humid. We got the lights, that light bloom off the landing lights. Look at that. All right, after takeoff checklist, please. That's off now. Pressurization is auto and climbing. After takeoff checklist. Flaps up, no lights. Gear is off. Auto brakes off. Air conditioning, bleeds, and pressurization checked. Anti-ice as required. APU as required. After takeoff checklist is completed. Engine start switches. All right, I'm gonna make an emoji. That's just this engine start switch because you guys are gonna drive me freaking nuts. Should I make the emoji the engine start switch, or should I just make a black square that says auto? So if you look here, these engine start switches have an auto position. That is what we're rocking. We do not touch those. Turks, it is just 80. I just saw your message. That's kind of lame. I think everybody in the world says 80 knots. Although, it makes sense, because what else, what in the heck else are you going to be doing? 80 kilometers, 80 miles an hour? Like, it's understood knots, so I guess it minimizes that extra word. 80. I got to get used to saying the right terms. Man, it hand flies so nice. I can't wingnut, dude. You need to get the Moza wingnut. I'm telling you, dude. It's just next level. I mean, look at this. I'm literally just hand flying, fingertips. We're going through 10. I'll let the nose fall a little bit. Just a little trim there. Look at that. Right, flight director. Love it. All right, retracts come up. Taxi's off. Logo's off. Wing stays on. I think. I have to check. If there's a possible way to shorten a call, we do it. All about saying as little as possible. That's what modus operandi. Okay, gotcha, man. Cool. So, as little as possible communication. That makes sense, because 80. Done. Is there a 7.3 equivalent to your throttle quadrant super giga machine? Is there a 737 equivalent? Oh, AFO. Not really, man. There's a Throttletek 737 Quadrant, but it is not motorized. The only other motorized Quadrant on the market right now is Scalarky. I believe Scalarky. And we're talking thousands of dollars. But I wish there was... I mean, I'm curious to see if Winwing is going to be making the year of Boeings coming up, you know? We might as well look at all that. I'm going to turn these lights off because they're driving me nuts right there. I want to see my wing view. So we're not going to be seeing any lights for a little while. T-Tut Company, thank you for the $5 super chat. Little Sim could probably afford the Moza if Big Sim didn't step on his streams. Listen, T-Tut Company, I actually said I would bring him up live in cruise if he flew the route that I wanted to fly, and I could have promoted his channel. But instead, he decided to fight me, so I had to do what I had to do, and that's just squash Little Sim. Thanks for the $5 super chat, though, man. Appreciate you. Gotta fight fire with fire these days. It still bothers me that it's not SOP at some carriers to call out flight mode and unseater changes. Yeah. From what I gather, I don't believe there's any FMA callouts on the 7.3. Like, I don't think I've read that far in the manuals, but I think I would have seen it by now. I'm not saying we don't. But it's not like the Airbus at my previous operator where flight mode and unseaters you would call out. I mean, look at this. Look at this wing. We're trimmed out. I'm just sitting here doing nothing. That's how it should be.
Contact Miami Oceanic 123.775, American 357.
We'll throw the weather radar on as we go out over the water. Miami Oceanic, baby.
4,400 feet for 17,000 feet.
Why are there two of those?
357, Miami Oceanic, climb, maintain flight level 350.
Sorry.
Climb,
Fixed. Thank you, man.
350, American 357.
I've been meaning to fix it. I just keep forgetting. I saw it on replay, and I'm like, oh, I gotta fix that. All right, 350 is set. I mean, we're so trimmed out. I'm basically having the autopilot on. We'll make this turn up here, then we'll turn the autopilot on. We'll go through 18, not yet. Right about now, I'll be smelling the biscuits. So my life will be complete when I get an early morning flight and there's breakfast and you can smell the rolls or whatever it is that they cook. I don't even know if they're that great, but just the smell of them are amazing. I've been in the jump seat a couple times and it's like, I don't know what particular meal it is that they cook, but there's one that has some rolls, and when you can smell the rolls in the oven, it's delicious. All right, let's go ahead and engage Commande, and let's go ahead and engage full screen cam, and we'll wait till we hit 18,000 feet. We'll do another little flow, and then it's pretty much as far as I've read as far as procedures. We'll have to wing the rest of it. At least in the sim, there's a heading click point. That is true, Deltanga. There is a heading click point. Thank you. Right there. Hey, Wingnut, are your NDs track mag as well? Are your NDs track mag? Here comes 18,000 feet. Set standard. Barrel resets are off. STDs are set once, twice, thrice. Wing lights are off. Turnoffs are off. Ooh, I saw a flash, but not quite ready yet. We're still at 15, 14. Did you see that? There was a flicker, a low pressure light. That's a great little simulation. Is it going to stay on? Nope, see it went off again. The fuel is sloshing around in the tank there. See the low pressure lights coming on again? Love that. Simulation. Say goodbye, South Florida. It is track up. Some operators only call out FMA changes on the Airbus following a mode reversion chirp. Yeah. Well, mode reversion chirp is kind of a big deal, right? It means something. Whoa, look at the harvest moon. I'm sorry, Jeremy, I'm easily distracted. The mode reversion chirp means that you've degraded your aircraft's automation, right? So that's what the chirp is for. So typically you don't want to intentionally degrade your automation. That's why you get that chirp. Look at the harvest moon. Moonrise. Let's just enjoy sights and sounds for a minute. I'm gonna have some coffee. Diabetic lad, this is real life. Matter of fact, that is real life right there with the window. It's real life, chat. Shh. Get some real life emojis, please. See the reflection of the moon on the ocean. Oh my goodness, the sim. I love this sim. I love this sim. I'm trying to be positive, but these sounds are not real life. Turk is an axe to grind with the sounds. Look, man, when Boris comes out, I'm installing Boris too. But you have to think at where the sounds have come from. I still think they're pretty dang good. Was that the bridge? That's the highway out to the Keys, right? Would real life have a beacon reflection? Oh, we don't have a beacon. I don't know. Can you see beacon reflection on the NG engines? Oh, there it is. It's underneath. There's our fuel light. Center tank pumps off. That's a great question. Can you see the beacon reflection from the window? I haven't been on a 7.3 at night in a very, very long time, so I actually don't remember. Key Largo, Alex? That's where we're going? Down there to Key Largo. Looks like there's some traffic going into Miami.
American 357, contact Miami Center 12 for
Do you know if PMG is going to wait until some update 4? Fred, I do not know what the update schedule is for PMDG. I initially thought that this aircraft would have released already by now. I think that the decision to do a texture refresh on the outside of the aircraft has taken some precedence, and I think that's going to delay it a little bit. And I have no basis on saying that. It could release tonight for all I know, but I'm just spitballing here, thinking that if they've decided to go ahead and do a refresh on some of the textures, that maybe they're going to hang tight for a little bit. And if Azobo says Sim Update 4 is coming next week, who knows? Like, if I was a developer and I was about ready to release an airplane and I knew there was a Sim Update about to drop, maybe you wait an extra week at least to see what it does in Sim Update 4. But again, I'm just spitballing here. I have no basis, no insider information on that, other than the fact that I am shocked that it didn't release already. So that's all I got to say about that. Griffin Karch, 8283. Welcome to Commercial Pilot, man. Glad to have you on board. Thank you for joining the stream, my friend. I think they noticed what Turk has been saying, and now it's delayed till summer. Yeah. I know, I love it. Selfishly, I don't mind the delay, because now I can just make Turk sit in misery wishing that he had his 7.3 NG. Turk is our residential complainer. Turk is to PMDG as what Gus is to Microsoft Flight Sim. I got myself the IXEG on Black Friday. Been flying all the time. I fly to live, dude. So I loaded up the IXEG last night. Chad, we might have to fly X-Plane 12 IXEG. I fly to live. It's good, man. I miss that plane. 3 greens. Thank you another for a 15 Aussie again. Appreciate the super chat. Have you got the 737 handbook app? Really good system trivia. Best scenario I saw was FA calls report to hearing scraping sound on takeoff. What's the response? Thanks, Linda. Milk and 2 sugars, please. There is an app that I was recommended. I think that's the one. I don't have it yet. But I will. I'm probably going to buy it. I'll be honest with you. I'm probably going to buy it. It's like the 737. Is it 737 cockpit app? Is that what it's called or something? Wow. Hold on. This is just too cool, man. The moon doesn't always look like this in Flight Sim. But 3 greens, thanks for this super chat, man. I'm definitely going to pick up. There is an app. I think it is called the 73 Handbook app or something like that. And I will probably be picking it up, my friend. Turk with the S is saying they are delaying it because they decided to allow FSS to build the FMS. So we could expect an Alpha State in about 4 years. Shots fired. Yeah. I know, man. Listen. I have been one of the FSS defenders. I know that. I admit that. I still admit to the fact that I enjoy flying the E-Jet as is without the FMS, without the VNAV. But I myself am actually finding it slight comical that we've got nothing on that yet. So, yeah. Yeah. What's the Vulcan bug, AJ? Does it mean it crashes the sim? You go, does it crash the sim? How to do this? Let's go yoke off. FCU doesn't work. Wait a second, we'll turn one of these lights off. That's a little bit more cozy. That's a little bit more cozy. Flying an E-Jet into MHTG at night? Spicy. Wait, Vodka, are you flying the E-Jet tonight? Do you think they will change the crosswind taxi behavior? Flightbox Sim said it was taxiing straight with a 30-knot crosswind. Captain Noodle, I have no idea what they intend to change or do not change. I'm not privy to any of that information. I will say that I think this airplane handles way better than it did in Sim Update, or excuse me, in 2020. As far as taxiing, feels more realistic. Now, I don't know if they had to do some workaround stuff to make it feel more dampened and more realistic with the tiller on the ground, that maybe that has messed up with taxiing behavior. But I don't know. Do we have... That's something I've never actually tested. Does any airplane in the sim drift when you're taxiing into a crosswind or with a crosswind? I've actually never tested that in sim. I know that happens in real life to an extent. I mean, I don't think I've ever paid attention to it, to be honest, though. I always, in the bus, I just ran a little bit of rudder trim. Just let it rip. Now, I know on takeoff roll it'd be a problem.
Dragster 8965,
who's
contact
Dragster?
Miami Center 132.4.
Let's turn this way down. Some of the GA does, yeah. I can see the GA for sure. Intellectuals don't need VNAV. There's a new winglet mod for the Flight Factor 7.5. Just installed it and works well. Flight Factor 7.6 is still awful. 200 burns literally half the fuel it should. It's had that issue for years. Oh my god. Does the power still roll back on you? I used to have a rollback thrust problem in the 7.6. How is the 7.5 in X-Plane 12? Is there any texture updates since X-Plane 9? Has there been any graphical improvements in the 7.5 and X-Plane 12? Because I would love to give that a shot. I just can't. The last time I loaded in a Flight Factor 7.5, I about gouged my eyes out. I think it was about 6 months ago when I first got X-Plane 12 reinstalled. I was like, okay, well, I have Flight Factor. Let me try. And I Alt F4'd immediately. I was like, I cannot do this. It just ruins the fun for me. Like, when I sim, I want to have fun. You know, I want to enjoy the flight, enjoy the... I know it's not all graphics and it's not all visuals, but if I can't enjoy any of the graphical stuff, then it's just not fun. What throttle handles am I using? That's a great question, Witch King 1375. I am using the Blackbird control levers for my Honeycomb Bravo. Go to his page right now, order yourself a set. I promise you, you will never look back, and you will thank me later. And let him know V1 sent you and see if he gives you a discount. Tell him I sent you. He probably won't, but I just still love him, I promise. For Honeycomb Bravo users going into the holiday season here, you want to improve your quality of simming, you need to check out getting some hardware levers for your Bravo. Yeah, the Flight Factor sounds aren't that great either. Speaking of VNAV, being overrated, when are we getting a 1997 Southwest NG style flight? Old gauges, no VNAV, no auto throttle. Diabetic Lad, I know. I would love to do that in the 600, a straight wing. We could pretend it's an old South. Would do 600 straight wing and like desert gold livery. I think I did a stream like that, not like maybe in 2020. I can't remember though. Beef Jesus said it's a bell curve. Complete casuals just want good visuals. Weekend warriors want pure realism. And then keyboard captains and IRL pilots go back to just wanting visuals. I tell you what I want, Beef Jesus. I want a balance of... Like, here's the thing. In a perfect world, yeah, give me the best visuals possible. Right? But I also want... Wow. Sky color's looking really freaking good. I want to fly in an immersive environment. Both the sim being immersive weather, etc. Immersive lighting. And then I want my airplane to be as immersive, right? I don't want to have some good... This is a perfect X-Plane 12 example. I don't want to have some good adverse weather effects like X-Plane. X-Plane's got great rain and wet operations, wet runway operations, just raindrops, windshield wiper effect, all that stuff. It has great adverse weather operations. But then I don't want to look inside my cockpit and just be completely disappointed about the visuals in the cockpit. So Microsoft 2024 for me, you get amazing visuals, pretty good in like dynamic environment to fly in, like very good, I would say. And now the aircraft that we have, the Fenix being probably the GOAT of all visuals, and then you put the realism of the systems on top of it, man. It's like, what more do you want? Like, what more do we want? Sounds is a big one for me. You gotta have that sounds. Sounds can make up for a lot of graphical suboptimals. Like another perfect example, X-Plane 12 Felis 747. Now I personally think that airplane, the model is fantastic. Exterior model, engine model, fantastic. The cockpit is very, very good. But it's not a 2024 Fenix cockpit. But the default sound set for the Felis 747-200 is phenomenal. That makes up for not having a Fenix quality cockpit, right? So the sound set can really make up for little things, you know, that it makes it easier to overlook little things. For me personally, since we're flying the PMDG, the way the sounds are now, with the improvement over the default, I honestly didn't even really look at the outside too much, you know, thinking, oh, I need this to be changed before I can enjoy it, because the sounds have really updated. If it had a very poor sound pack, then I think myself personally it would be easier to nitpick things. But it doesn't matter what I think. PMDG's already stated that they're going to go ahead and do a texture refresh anyway, so it doesn't matter what my opinion is. But I'm just using it as an example. Desert Gold Southwest, it's awesome, 3 greens. I agree with you. As a pilot, I want it to look good because that's why I like flying. Yeah, I want it to look good too, man. Our real airplanes aren't immersive enough. Dude, I tell you what, Wingnut actually said this the other day. He said, I wonder if that's the reason why general aviation has actually declined a little bit. And it's declined with the younger generation. So, like, most people that are super into GA are of the older generation, like probably 1985 birth year and older. And he's like, I wonder if the enhancements in flight simulation have had anything to do with that. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, okay, we got force feedback yokes. You've got a VR, which is incredible. I've seen VR. I've done some VR at XP72's house. It's incredibly immersive. And and now with the whole world modeled for you in 2024, anywhere in the world, you can go there and have a decent scenery. It may not be the best scenery somewhere. You can find there's definitely areas that are better than others, but you have the whole world modeled for you. You can experience it in VR, and at the comfort of your own home. You don't have to worry about dying or having explosive diarrhea on the takeoff roll. You don't have to worry about these things, and you can enjoy it from the comfort of your own home. I don't know. It's an interesting thought that he said. So, I mean, I kind of agree. There's a different level of satisfaction between, flying a real-world flight. You go, you do it, you fly it. You have there's a level of satisfaction, like mission complete, right? SimWorld, you do a flight A to B, everything goes perfectly. Say you're on VATSIM. You have a wonderful VADSIM flight. You talk to ATC. No crash to desktops. You have a level of satisfaction. They're both great, but they're both so different. It's almost, you can't really relate them. I don't know how else to explain it. Maybe Wingnet, maybe you have a way of explaining it, or Turks, but I have a great deal of satisfaction when I complete an A to B flight in SimWorld. Everything went smoothly, great weather. Maybe there's some really cool weather on approach. Traffic, whatever it is. And then real world flight is, you're satisfied. You have we got the flight done, job well done, cool. Go to the hotel and I'm going home. It's just different though. So different. It's the same, you're simulating the same exact thing, but the feeling is so different. Someone say diarrhea on takeoff roll. Told you about that. Hey man. It's a niche fear. Okay, it's only niche for you because it hasn't happened to you yet then. Listen, I had food poisoning from Buffalo Wild Wings 2014. 2014. Buffalo Wild Wings. Food poisoning. Go home leg. I was based in Philadelphia. And, I felt fine until Pushback. At Pushback, problems. I was like, what is happening? Okay. Go to the lab, whatever, cool. Start taxiing out. Got another problem. Red flag starts to go off. Alright, do what I gotta do. Get to the hold short line. Cleared for takeoff. And I just look over at the captain, I'm like, I gotta use the lab again. What? Yep. So it was awful, man. It was terrible. And then, so I was flying with a great crew, the lead flight attendant was a 20-year Philly PD guy. This dude was about 6'6", 290 pounds, solid muscle. Ronnie, his name goes by Ronnie, and I call him up on the PA like, Ronnie, I'm coming out. And I mean, I probably got in and out of that flight deck, I don't know, maybe 20 times between, where did we leave? Charleston? I think we were in Charleston, South Carolina. Pretty sure we were in Charleston. And we're going back to Philly. Not a very long flight. And, yeah, not good. But then the problem persisted when I got to Philly, because now I got to get on a 5-hour commute, wintertime, 5-hour commute back to Dallas. Well, it's, 4 hours at least, but that was not good. We leveling off yet? We are 350. Let us sit back, relax, enjoy the flight now. Our weather radar is on. Let's take a look at our FMC. 536 miles top of descent. We got fuel 7.7. Gross weight 147.5. Is that with our burn? Or is that our gross weight right now? That's a good question for Wingnut. Is this... This is actual gross weight, right? And this goes down with time? So if we're landing with 7.7, we're going to burn 7,000 pounds. We'll be 140,000 pounds. We'll be below max, I believe. On the approach page, is your actual gross? Yep. Cool. So that is actual. Beautiful. Thank you. Has a passenger ever recognized your IRL? No. I had a ramper one time recognize me. Had a ramper. Add 0 fuel weight to estimated on deck prog page, and you can type it in. What? Add 0 fuel weight to estimated on prog page. Wait, add 0 fuel weight to estimated on deck from the prog page. You can type that in. What the hell does that mean, dude? Why can't I just take my estimated fuel at landing, 7.7? I'm at 4. I was at 14.7, so I just take minus 7,000 pounds from here. It's 140,000 pounds. What is this 0 fuel weight thing? I think you're working harder, not smarter. Because now I gotta look up 0 fuel weights. I still don't see where you say put it in. Type that in the perf page and I'll give you numbers for landing. Add 0 fuel weight to estimated on deck. What the heck is it? Can you speak in like 121 lingo, man? What does that mean, Wingnut? On deck from the prog page. Call the ball. Have you ever heard anyone know you as a passenger? No. That's too much work. Secondary flight plan copy active. I know, man. I miss it, Turks. I miss it. Now, if we had the new FMS, we could go... can you copy route 2? Make it the same? I still don't know what you're talking about. Where would I add 0 fuel weight here? I have 7.7 ground fuel. 0 fuel weight plus landing fuel on prof page equals landing weight. 0 fuel weight plus landing fuel. Well, I don't know what the 0 fuel weight is. You want me to go look that up? That's way too much work, dude. I don't even know where my 0 fuel weight is anymore. I gave up on it. I don't have a TPS or closeout. I need a closeout form. And I don't. Well, yeah, I don't have actual zero fuel. So it would be impossible, though. Oh, load closeout. What? Since when is this included? 133.1. FMS Plus will also tell your landing weight. Oh, yeah, Turk. That thing is awesome, man. I was looking at that. Perf and knit. Perf and knit. Index. Perf. Oh, this page. Well, you were saying Prague page, man. Zero fuel weight 133.1. Zero fuel weight 133.1. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? 133 plus 7. Where'd you get 7 from, Bontek? Zero fuel weight plus landing. Okay, so you want me to add... Okay, 133.1 plus 7.6. 140.9. Dude, that is way harder. Fuel 7.6, and I just go to the init page and I see and I minus the fuel that I'm going to do. It's 7.7 landing fuel. That's way easier to do it my way, man. $133 plus 7, that's not what I'm, no, that's not correct, because our landing weight is 140,000 pounds. Hold on. You're frying my brain, pilot guy. Add estimated landing fuel to zero fuel weight. So you mess with it then. $133 plus 7 is 140. Oh. That's too much work, man. Dude, that's the most convoluted way I've ever seen. It took so long to figure that out, I don't even remember what we were trying to figure out. Are we hypoxic? Check the oxygen. I'm afraid if I mess with this now, won't this mess with all the other numbers? Here's what you can help me with, though. Where do I get the cruise winds at? Where do I get cruise winds? Can I pull them in from anywhere? Cruise. Turn the smoking sign back on? Matter of fact, let's turn the seatbelt sign off. You're now free to move about the cabin. Legs, route data. Legs, route data. Ooh, winds request. Please don't crash the sim. Thank you. See? You are useful. I don't know what you wanted me to do with that fuel, though. That's the worst. That made me so mad. I'd rather go back to the Airbus than have to do that again. Man, I'm about ready to alt F4 the stream. That is the most convoluted way to find out my landing gross weight. Alright, uplink is ready. Load it. Hey, execute. A lot of executing in the box. What do I do with this one? Up ready, I know. Can always MBE into the cardboard box based on the buzz. Yeah. I thought about Turks, dude. The amount of MIA bus is crazy lately, man. Everyone's talking about that because there's a lot of guys that wanted that. Now I forget where I was at. We were messing around with the route page. No, we weren't messing around with that. What were we messing with? Cruise. Index. Perf. But see, my cruise wind is still not there. Do you just put in whatever, like 276 and 22? My average cruise wind? Beef Jesus. Have I started flying the 7.3 real world? I haven't actually started flying it yet. Zero fuel weight plus landing fuel equals landing weight. Yeah, but Bomb Tech, to find the landing fuel, you have to go back here and you go, okay, so now I got to get my 7.5, then I got to come back to this page, back to the index page, back to the perf page. By the time I get to this, I forget what my landing fuel was, when all I can do is just look here. If I just go to my prog page and I say, oh, I'm landing with 7.5, I have 13.5 on board, that means I'm going to burn 6,000 pounds. Cool. And it 146 minus 6 is 140.6, baby. Way easier. By the time I get back to the init ref and F this and alternate route this to find the zero fuel, man, I forget what number I had in my head. That's way easier, man. You guys are... We got to watch a green dot. Taking up all my cruise time. 3 greens has the true answer. What's the landing weight? That's a captain problem. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Generally have my zero fuel weight noted somewhere. Yeah, see, I don't. I flew the Airbus for 10 years, man. I don't know what zero fuel weight is. That's just something that, like, gets uplinked and just make sure that it's in the green. But then you have to do subtraction, and subtraction is hard. Yeah, 146 minus 6 is real hard, Wignut. Wait till you start working with DevTemp for landing. Oh, yeah, deviations. But you started subtracting from the current gross weight. There's no way that's easier than adding zero fuel and fuel. Yeah, no, no. Nope. Nope. Yeah, why write down the zero fuel weight if load closeout is in front of you? Oh, that's true. I'll have a load closeout in front of me. That's right. Captain Noodle, back to the right seat, my man. Back to the right seat. Back to the right seat. So I think we just passed our little bit of weather. And, wait, who's this? There's actually America West that's flying this route in front of us in a 733. Wow, there's a lot of people flying this. Aw, man. I wish I could fly with you guys. Look at, there's actually quite a few people going Miami to Honduras tonight. I was looking at the flight tracker cam. I'll have to do it on X-Plane next time. All right. Are we doing green dot? Don't forget to enter your landing winds. Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to probably have to be flaps 40 on this one. Fly to live, you're the cactus? Nice, dude. Nice. I cried as a man for the first time having to do 1 in 60s without a calculator. Beef Jesus is still trying to convince me. Just go to landing en route on the EFB. Well, no. So now I'm looking at 3 things. Now I'm looking at my FMC, my EFB, the ECAM. Nah, dude. Havana Center. Now, technically, we're supposed to call 10 minutes prior to entering Havana. And we have to do a progress report. Can we do... oh, there's no... So in the 7.3, is there no progress report page like in the Airbus where it will tell you the appropriate fix? I guess you could use this, but you just have to know if these fixes are compulsory or not. So technically, it'd be Havana Center, American 357 position. American 357, Havana Center, go ahead. I don't know why she turned to be Asian. American 357 over Tom D, fly level 350, estimating mat key 2356 Zulu, Totet next. And then you're supposed to say something else. I forget. Wow, I forget how to do position reports. So American 357 over TAMD 2351 Zulu, estimating MACD, flight level, oh, altitude. No, 350, yeah, estimating TAMD 2356 Zulu, Totet next. And then there's something else. There's something else I'm forgetting. There's a position reports page, but PMDG didn't model it in the 1967 era FMS. Ah. Okay, so this is a little bit out of date. Got you. Oh, wait, hold on. Position report. Oh no, what does that do? Does that send a position report to someone? Let me show you. I did find this the other day. Data link, ATC, position report. Doesn't appear to be functioning. Data link menu, ATS, oceanic clearance. Yeah, the air rep form, Turks. Yeah, air rep form. Yep. Do you know what I'm missing offhand? I feel like I almost had it. It's American 357 over Tandy at flight level 350, 235, or over Tandy at 2356 Zulu, flight level 350. Estimating Notkey 2356 Zulu, Totet next. And then there's something right after you say next, and I'm just drawing a blank. ATS pause report. All right. Yeah, so ATS. What's TWIP? Oh, TWIP request. I hope I don't crash the desktop here. Mess around. What about ATIS? Can I get an ATIS from this? Maybe if I had my Hoppy programmed. ATIS source. Can't send it. Position time altitude time position. Okay, maybe I'm not missing anything. Position time altitude position time position. I guess I think that's it. All right. Okay, I guess I wasn't missing anything. Maybe squawk code? Do you say your squawk code? I guess not. But yeah, going south, we've been doing position reports and using the air rim corps. All right, so yeah, I just mess around with it. I don't even know what I'm doing here in this menu. Oh yeah, see Hoppy code, network ID. I bet if I had Hoppy in here, I bet this would work, right? Hoppy and VATSIM maybe. It's a shame I'm still banned from VATSIM, but I bet that might have something to do with it. When can we? I used to mess with that in the world. Go direct to airport. Overhead X flight level 3500, expecting Yankee 810, Zulu next. Alright. Time to finish off that. We'll follow the air rep form. I'm excited to fly this thing, man. I'm actually super excited. I mean, it looks super tight, but it looks cozy, you know? I feel like I'm going to get real cozy up here. Now, how far back do the seats go? Do these seats move? I don't believe we can move the seats in the PMDG, can we? Do they go back far enough? It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of room there between the wall and the fire extinguisher. Alright, but let's watch. I mean, it's just such a beautiful night. I don't even want to watch Green Dot right now. I just want to look at the sunset on the horizon. We're going to watch a Thompson Green Dot 737 Classic incident. I guess we'll watch Green Dot because that's what you guys are here for. Let's get it set up. You can recline them a good amount or scoot them back enough. Alright, but not both. I mean, I guess it can't be any tighter than the Embraer, right? The E-Jet. That I was never like super uncomfortable in the E-Jet. I recline them, then I put my feet under behind the rudder pedals. That's what I used to do in the E-Jet. I used to put my feet in the middle and like go back. It'll be interesting. But I'm excited, man. I'm super excited. I really want to get the wind wing yoke now. The wind wing floor mounted yoke is a must. I might just build a 7.3 cockpit. Alright, let's watch ourselves a Green Dot. Such good vibes, though. Alright. We're going to watch it from. Ooh. The sky blue interior. First class. This is cozy. Alright. We're gonna have to turn that light off though. Where did I see the cabin lighting setting? Someone remind me. There's a cabin lighting setting somewhere. Tablet brightness. Charts. Yeah, no. Ground operations. Panel near the cabin door. Does that actually work? I thought there was... Oh. I'm burning some oil there. I thought there was a setting where you could click it. Like off, low. Lighting. Environment. Oh, coming soon. Lighting. Oh, yeah, here we go. Cruise. Night sleep. Night sleep. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. No, we still have that one light on above us. Ah! Ah! Thanks, Asia, for the $3 super chat. Miss V1 is wondering why a second chicken coop going up. Man. Thanks for $3 super chat, man. Work light on. Forward entries off, off. Off? But they're still on. They're still on. Ah, all right. Because it's gonna be bright. Like I got this glow right in front of us. I'm trying to sleep. I think you have to click the zone after the setting. Off. Here. Yeah, you see these lights are on. Oh, what? Okay, at least first class I think is dark now. Nope. Oh, we still got that. We'll have to watch it from this angle. We'll have to watch it from this angle. Yeah, second seat. We'll watch it from the middle row. Here we go. Alright. I'm going to put away... I'll leave our little FMC. This is actually a good view right here because we could see out the window. Oh, that's actually... This could be an epic green dot situation. Hold on. Bear with me. Now I've got that set up. I need to bring up green dot. Oh, but I don't have my FMC. Where's my FMC? Nope. That ain't it. That ain't gonna do it. Delete it. Alright, we'll just have to... We won't have any FMC. Damn. Alright. You know what? I don't even need that. I could probably just put this up. Up. Why is that moving? Why are you not locked? Nah, we'll just do it as we had it. Patent pending here. Hold on. Alright. Now we're cooking. We are set. Alright, so turn the sim down all the way down. I'll keep an eye on my progress page over here so you guys don't have to worry about that. Meal has arrived. Vodka, excellent. Did you have the fish? Alright, so we are going to be taking a look at Green Dot Aviation 737 loss of control. This is one of my favorite things to do on the channel. If you haven't already, please head over to Green Dot Aviation and leave a comment on this video. This helps kind of rejuice the algorithm for Green Dot. This is one of his older videos, and he said, you know, it's okay if we share his content as long as we put a link to it. And this is one of my favorite things to do on the channel. So if you want to keep doing these, let's keep hitting the like button on Green Dot. Make sure you're subscribed. It's a great channel. It does a lot of good aviation stuff. So we're going to go ahead and watch this video about Thompson Fly 3894. Sim sounds are coming up, and
a Boeing 737 carrying 132 passengers
sound check
climbs out of control just moments before landing. The pilots try desperately to push the nose down, but their aircraft is hell-bent on going up. As it does, its speed drops, and the pilot's stick shakers vibrate loudly, indicating that they're about to stall and fall from the sky. The terrified passengers hold on for dear life as the engines roar and the aircraft shudders.
So like a normal flight Navy
Will the pilots be
flight
able to wrestle their aircraft back under control, or will a simple misunderstanding spell their doom? This is the story of Thompson Flight 3894.
Dun 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 dun. Yes. Love it. Alright, Thompson Fly 3894. Never seen this one. Know nothing about it. 737 Classic, not an NG. Let's go ahead and get into this, see what happens. I want to watch a Green Dot on a real flight headrest and see if anyone gives me a dirty look. Throw your EFB up there, man. Throw your EFB up there. Or your EFB. Throw your iPad up there and watch one of them. All right.
On the night of September 23rd, 2007, 132 passengers and 5 crew boarded a Thompson Fly Boeing 737 at Faro in the south of Portugal. Most of the passengers were returning from their late summer holidays in the Iberian Peninsula to a cold and blustery United Kingdom. Flight 3894 would take them to Bournemouth on the south coast of England. The flight time was 2.5 hours. As the passengers boarded, the pilots were busy preparing the aircraft for departure. The plane they were flying was a 12-year-old Boeing 737-300. The 300
Center on 123.9er, American 357.
All right, cool. We're handing over to center. I got my FO working the radio. So we got a
Center control, American
737
357.
Classic 1995. A 300. Radar contact.
variant was an older version of the 737s produced today, hence the mishmash of CRT displays and analog
I
dials
love it.
you
I
can
love
see
it.
here in the cockpit. But despite not having the bells and whistles of a modern 737, it was still a safe and serviceable short-haul jet. However, given recent events with Boeing's 737 MAX,
Microsoft Flight
you couldn't be
Simulator.
blamed for thinking that new
Oh no, that's
isn't
real.
necessarily a good thing. That is, unless you're talking about the new web browser
From Opera. All right, I'm
Unlike
going
the
to let it
73
play through. So we got an older 7.3 Classic. What year did this happen? Did he say what year this happened? I wonder when they were flying this. FO doesn't get to watch with us. Nope. Those out of it. You've watched solely on flights before? Yeah. I watched solely on a U.S. Airways airplane. 2007. So it's still a pretty new air. I mean, it's a 13-year-old? No, 12? Yeah, 12-year-old airplane. That's new, man. That's not old at all. But this happened in 07. All right, Green Dot, let's get through your opera.
I also really like having a built-in VPN and ad blocker.
Fluffy,
which I
yeah,
can
man.
turn on
Just
with a
started
single
it.
click.
Just started my
Opera
at-home
even has
systems
its own
training.
AI, ARIA, embedded into the browser. I find this really
turned
useful
13 the
because
day
whenever
before
I
this
have a
happened. I
question
feel
which Google
old.
can't answer, I just ask ARIA. Opera really
Well,
feels like the
I
future
was
of the web.
older than
Everything
you.
I need is just there in the browser itself. Click my link in
So
the
I
video
feel even older
description to
than
download Opera. It's free, it's fast, and it just works. Now, let's get back to the video. Once the bags were loaded,
Man, the
and passengers
IXCG
had
model
boarded,
looks pretty
the
good.
flight attendants closed the doors, and Flight 3894 was pushed back from the gate.
All right.
The pilots started
Gosh,
the two
I love
engines
the classic.
and began their taxi out to the runway, completing their checklists as they went. In command on this night was a 56-year-old captain. He had been with the company for
Wingnuts
18
age.
years and had built up over 11,000 hours of flying experience
Cool.
in his time as a pilot. However, most of this time was spent on the Boeing 757 and 767. He was still very new to the 737, having just been promoted to captain on it the previous year. At this point, he had just over 400
Wow.
hours on the aircraft.
So, and that's crazy. So he's captain at 420 hours. So he was on the airplane for a relatively short time. Unless he, I bet he probably just bid back to the narrow body left seat. Where he's probably flying 7576 because he's got a ton of flight time. And then he probably just got tired of doing long haul because long haul is, death by red eye. That's all it is. So he's like, I want to bid back to the narrow body and have a good schedule. That's my assumption. I have no idea. But 420 hours, probably a year or so on the airplane. Maybe a little under a year of flying, depending on how much they fly.
Sitting to his right was a 30-year-old first officer. He too was relatively new to the 737 and to jets in general. He had just over 800 hours on the 737. Previously, he had flown the turboprop-driven Dash 8, on which he had built up the majority of his over 3,000 flying hours. On this night, the first officer would be flying the aircraft, while the captain acted as pilot monitoring.
Right.
At about 9:30,
That's an interesting mix of flight time between the crews. So you got a first officer with more time on the 7-3, but a fraction of the total time than the captain. But the captain only has half the time on the 7-3 as the FO. Just kind of an interesting mix of experience. You start getting these mixed fleets. It's kind of interesting. Look at the reflection on the night lighting there. Man, X-Plane 12 looking good.
9 local time, the first officer lined the aircraft up on the runway and powered up the engines for takeoff.
All right, FO's leg to fly.
Moments later, the plane was climbing skywards. The pilots raised the flaps and gear and turned north towards the UK. It was a calm night in Faro, but 1,000 miles to the north, in Bournemouth, conditions were not so clement. It was somewhat windy there, but the main problem was the cloud base. The pilots would not be able to see the runway until they were just 400 feet from the ground, about 30 seconds before touchdown. This was
If you want to see what that looks like, go back to my stream I just did this afternoon. Just fast forward to the landing. We broke out about 600 feet AGL. And I will say this, X-Plane 12, the way the lights appear and in the order that they appear is a very realistic representation of a low overcast layer breakout. Because you'll see certain things clearly before other things. And what X-Plane 12 does get right is the density of the cloud. So as we were flying the approach, I couldn't see anything straight ahead, but I actually started to see some ground contact. And then I started to see the high-intensity runway lights. And then I started to see everything else, and then we kind of broke out. That was a very realistic representation of a low-altitude breakout. I thought I'd just throw that out there.
well within safe limits, but just in case, the captain had decided to take on additional fuel at Faro, giving him the chance to carry out 2 approaches to land in case his first one wasn't successful.
Solid move. Take a little extra gas.
All was routine as the plane climbed to its cruising altitude and set off north over Spain. It was approaching 11 p.m. as Flight 3894 flew through the clear night sky high over the Channel Islands of Guernsey and Jersey. The captain had used the last few minutes of the relative calm of the cruise to get the latest weather broadcast for Bournemouth. The first officer would be landing the aircraft on this evening, and as part of the descent preparation, he would soon begin to brief the captain on the approach and landing. Behind the cockpit door, a serene atmosphere had enveloped the cabin. Some passengers idly chatted, while others quietly read, bathed in the dim glow of the overhead lights. The hum of the 2 engines had lulled many others to sleep. 3
Just what
cabin
we're
crew
sitting
members
in
were
right
finishing
now.
the in-flight service, and were awaiting the sound of the seatbelt sign being switched on. This was the signal from the cockpit that the 737 would now be commencing its descent into Bournemouth.
So pretty nothing crazy going on in cruise, smooth flight, nothing going on. They're going to start the descent phase. T Fox Sale, welcome to Private Pot, man. Glad to have you on board. Thank you for joining the channel. Alberto, good to see you, my man. Welcome on board, man. Just in time for some green dot. We're cruising along here, and we're about to start our top of descent here on Thompson Fly.
The latest weather confirmed that the crew's earlier decision to take on extra fuel before they departed Faro was a wise one. Conditions at the airport that evening were less than ideal. The low cloud base meant that the pilots would have to rely solely on their instruments until the aircraft broke through the cloud at 400
Pretty good
feet.
breakout.
However, this was well above the minimum required for a well-equipped airliner like the 737. During his approach briefing, the first officer informed the captain that he was going to use the maximum amount of flap for landing, 40 degrees.
40. Okay, Wingnut, I don't know if you're still here, if there's any other 7.3 guys in the chat. I know I always land flaps 40 in sim because I think flaps 40 looks cool. Now, I know operators land the 7.3 flaps 40, but how common is flaps 40 just a performance-based flap setting? So, like, everything should be 30 unless you need the stopping distance for 40. That's how flaps 40 is used in the 7.3? I'm just curious how Wingnut uses, because everything I see is, it's flaps 30 or 40, 30 or 40. I mean, if I want to do a flaps 40 landing because I want to make a shorter, turn off, could you use flaps 40? I don't know. Runway length, performance, or steep glide slope. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. Like a steeper glide slope. So 3.5 degrees or anything more than 3 degrees, would you just go flaps 40? I didn't think about the glide slope.
This was an unusual decision. There were only 2 destinations where full flap was needed. Bournemouth was neither of them. Full flap is only used when the landing runway is short. The 40 degrees of flap would increase the amount of drag by a significant amount.
I should have let
Along
Green Dot
with the
explain
extra
that.
drag, however, it would also increase the amount of lift that the wings produced. That has the benefit of allowing a slightly reduced final approach and landing speed. The combined effect of this is a shorter landing run. Due to the low cloud base, the first officer also briefed that the approach would be an instrument approach, using the runway's ILS, or Instrument Landing System.
So it's interesting. He decided to do flaps 40 for kind of no reason there. 30 is the standard, 40 is an exception. Just burns more gas, but anything above 3, I personally use 40. Okay, good deal, Wingnut. Good to know. Good to know. I hate the way it lands on 40 on the PMDG. I love landing it on 30. Did Wingnut, have you landed the PMDG on flaps 40? It's supposed to be more well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what makes the characteristics difference between 30 and 40.
This gives the pilots both vertical and horizontal guidance all the way down to the runway, allowing them to land in very low visibility. Then, the pilots calculated the final approach speed based on the aircraft's weight. On this night, they would fly the final approach at 135 knots. This was fast enough to be safely above the stall speed, but slow enough that they would not use up too much runway on landing.
Our flaps 40 speed right now is 139
Everything ready,
knots.
Flight 3894 now began its descent towards Bournemouth. It was a quiet night at the airport. To save the pilots time and fuel, air traffic control cleared them to make their own way to the ILS for runway 26. The first officer descended and slowed the plane down, turning it directly towards the extended centerline of runway 26. Within a few minutes, he had positioned the aircraft 11 nautical miles, or about 20 kilometers from the runway.
All right, so he's
The
on a
plane was
perfectly
level at
straight in,
2,500
2005.
feet.
So this is this is going to be an interesting video, because normally on these green dots we see something that kicks off from the gate. There's a problem. Something happens. There's a problem. This flight has gone uneventful all the way to the final approach segment. They are at 2,500 feet, 11-mile final. Perfectly normal. Yeah, they're doing an instrument approach down to 700 feet. That's fine. A standard instrument ILS is 200.5 mile. So they're still well above Cat 1 ILS mins. There's really nothing abnormal at all here set up at all. So I'm very curious to see what happens next. Wingnut says flaps 40 gets really sensitive in the NG, like F-16 sensitive. Did I mention I flew fighters? No, but I'll mention it for you. Wingnut full flap sim flew F-18s, F-16s, T-38s, T-6s. Dude is absolutely legit. But he almost crashed on his last stream. So I still won the landing challenge anyway. But thanks, man. That's good info to have. I'm very curious I'm very curious to see my first flaps 40 approach in the real airplane, because I've never experienced. I mean, Airbus, man. I mean, it's always flap full or sometimes flap 3, but because of the fly-by-wire, I never really noticed any difference in lateral control with the flap setting. So I find that very interesting. I look forward to seeing that out on the line. AJ, thanks for the $3 super chat, man. Max cinematic effect, Captain streaming. Foil. Thank you, AJ, for the $3 super chat, my man. Hope you get yourself a little hot cocoa.
And it had slowed down to 180 knots. The first stage of flap had also been extended. So far, this approach was no different than the thousands of others this experienced crew had flown. To ease the pilot's workload, like most modern aircraft, the Boeing 737-300 has an auto-throttle system. Its role is to automatically provide the right amount of thrust at any stage of the flight. It also has several modes, which allow the pilots to set takeoff power, climb power, and approach power, all far more accurately than the pilots could do by moving their throttles themselves. At this point, the autothrottle was engaged in speed mode. This meant that whatever speed the pilots had set on the mode control panel here, the autothrottle would move the two engine levers to maintain that speed. These may seem like mere details, but they are details which will play a crucial role in what is about to happen. At 7 nautical miles from the runway, about 13 kilometers, Flight 3894 intercepted the glide slope for runway 26. The glide slope is the vertical component of the instrument landing system, which guides the plane down towards the runway. In order to descend, the autothrottle reduced power on the engines, and the plane now began to follow the glide slope down towards the runway at a 3-degree angle. The first officer called for the landing gear to be lowered and for flap 15 to be selected.
Gear handle wasn't off.
At this point, the pilots were still very much in IMC, or instrument meteorological conditions. The flight would remain in the clouds until the final moments before touchdown.
So everything is still
as far as the
standard.
132 passengers were concerned, they were just a few minutes away from disembarking the aircraft, collecting their bags, and going home. But what happened next would put everyone on board.
Alright, we
in
gotta pay
grave
attention
danger.
here. Oh, wait, hold on. What kind of danger,
As the
chat?
aircraft-
What kind of danger? Hold on.
They were just a few minutes away from disembarking the aircraft, collecting their bags, and going home. But what happened next would put everyone on board in grave danger.
Grave danger.
As the aircraft descended, the first officer selected a lower speed on the autopilot. The thrust levers moved all the way back to idle to allow the plane to slow to this new speed. But just 20 seconds later, something strange happened. The autothrottle quietly disconnected. The green autothrottle light extinguished and a flashing red light illuminated in order to alert the pilots that the autothrottle had disengaged. But neither pilot noticed. There is no sound when the autothrottle disconnects, only this visual warning.
What?
The plane
Really?
continued its descent, as the pilots were blissfully unaware that the picture they had in their head of what the aircraft was doing was very different from what was actually happening.
Okay, so this is why you may have heard me say this multiple times. This was ingrained to me when I was a PPL student, and whether it was the GPS Garmin flashing message at you, my instructor would harp on me aggressively if there was anything blinking in the cockpit that was not supposed to be blinking. That goes from, like I said, a message on the when you fly on the Garmin 430 or whatever, and you go through airspace ahead or whatever, start flashing message. Always acknowledge anything that ever blinks in your cockpit, because if you don't, you're going to start getting accustomed to seeing blinking lights. And if you start to get accustomed to seeing blinking lights, it opens up the door for possibility to omit a blinking light when you should not omit it. It creates a bad habit, right? Generally, now, aviation is so safe in 2025, anything blinking is supposed to be attention grabbing. There's probably going to be some oral alert or some oral sound with it. However, you never know. The first thing you lose is going to be your hearing, right, in a high stress situation. So always being able to acknowledge a blinking light. And I promise you, it's helped me. I could fly the Airbus, and if I saw one thing flash on the ND or the ECAM, look at me speaking like a Boeing. If I saw something just like a transient ECAM message, I would always see it. I'd be like, did you see that? And the FO was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, you see the messages, IDG light just flecked on the oil low, or like a common one would be the oil filter clog. Sometimes if you start an IE engine really, really cool, you get an oil filter clog. And normally that has an ECAM ding, but if it's a real transient quick one, you won't hear it. You'll just see it pop on and go off. And I would see those all the time. So always acknowledge anything blinking in your cockpit, even if it's that little stupid 530 message that says MSG, and it's blinking at you. Acknowledge it. That way, anytime something does blink, you're going to notice it.
Because the plane had already been on idle thrust when the autothrottle disconnected, nothing about the plane's flight path changed when this happened. The aircraft simply continued descending and decelerating as normal. The autopilot, which is separate from the autothrottle, continued to fly the plane, controlling the pitch and roll in order to keep it perfectly on the ILS.
So you see what's happening here. The auto throttle is off, And I don't know if it retarded or what, but look at the FMA, right? You can tell the FMA there's no auto throttle annunciator. But the airplane is still flying and the Command A is still on. So they're setting up here for something that I can only imagine is going to be some type of slow speed or low energy state here.
As the speed slowed past 150 knots, the first officer called for 25 degrees of flap. But this is where the next critical chain in this unfortunate series of events occurred. As planes slow down, their wings generate less lift, lift being the force that keeps them in the air. To prevent this, the autopilot, or the pilot, whoever is flying, moves the horizontal stabilizer on the tailplane in order to pitch the plane up. This greater angle of attack, that is, the angle the wing makes with the oncoming air, increases the amount of lift that the wing generates, so that it can still stay in the air even at lower speeds. This movement of the horizontal stabilizer is called trimming. When the autopilot flies the aircraft, the autopilot trims the aircraft. When the pilots fly the aircraft, they trim the aircraft, generally by using these small switches on the control columns here. So, as
side note, if I start flying with a right-handed yoke, I don't have any trim switches on the right-hand side on the Brunner. That's a problem.
Flight 3894 slowed down towards its final approach speed, the autopilot gradually brought the nose of the aircraft up so that it would still produce the lift it needed to keep it descending at the target rate. So far, apart from the rather important fact that the pilots hadn't noticed the autothrottle disconnecting, everything appeared in order. As the plane slowed, the pilots continued extending the flaps. Each flap setting has a recommended airspeed at which it should be deployed. As the pilots weren't used to landing with the full 40 degrees of flaps, the first officer needed a quick reminder of the speed at which flaps 40 could be selected. These speeds are printed on the front of the pilot's control columns. The first officer turned up the light on his control column and read the placarded speed. Once the aircraft had passed below this speed, he called for flaps 40, and the captain moved the lever to that position. When this was done, the first officer selected the final approach speed.
So you can see why they are not alarmed at the reduction of speed, because they are in, like, not confirmation bias, but they're expecting the airplane to slow. As they're slowing, they're configuring on speed, but all this time they have not acknowledged the red blinking auto throttle light. So other than the blinking auto throttle light, everything, all indications are normal. So it's literally just that one thing that they're missing, and it's causing problems here. Because they're slowing down, they're configuring, slow down, configure. Everything else is normal for now.
Of 135 knots on the autopilot. What he didn't know, of course, was that this speed selection did nothing. The autothrottle was no longer controlling the aircraft's speed. The throttle levers were still in the idle position, right where they had been when the autothrottle disconnected. They would remain there until either the pilots moved them, or until the pilots switched the autothrottle back on. In an aircraft, speed is everything. Planes stay in the air because they move through it fast enough that the air feels thick to the wing, so thick that it can support the weight of the entire aircraft. Without speed, air is simply air, and it cannot support the plane's weight. Slowly but surely, the plane slowed down. Except, with no autothrottle, it didn't stop at 135 knots. Instead, it kept on slowing.
You don't get an alpha speed or anything like that?
The captain watched as the flaps extended to 40 degrees. Once they were there, the landing checklist was complete. By now, the speed of the aircraft had reduced to 130 knots. A few seconds later, after stowing the checklist on top of the instrument panel, the captain saw that the airspeed had now decayed to 125 knots. This was 10 knots lower than they should have been, and it was getting dangerously close to the stall speed. Speed, the captain barked.
See? There we go.
The
He's
first
on
officer
it.
responded by making a small forward movement
So he actually caught it. He actually is on it. He's like, okay, boom, we're 10 knots slow. Speed.
the throttle levers. But
First
it was too
officer's
little,
moving the
too
throttle.
late. The captain took over. He immediately slammed the thrust levers fully forward and made the standard call out of go around, flap 15, check thrust. It might be counterintuitive, given
That sounds absolutely perfect, right? Except, I wonder if they have a stall procedure like in the bus. We had stall Toga 15. But, man, the captain is on it. Speed, check speed. First officer applied a little bit of thrust. Captain's like, that's not enough. We're going around punching out now. I still don't see how this ends up bad here. Let's keep going.
how slow the plane had gotten, but the captain's instinctive decision to apply maximum thrust had actually been warned against by Boeing. We'll see why in a moment.
Underslung engines, chat.
Before the engines could spool up, the pilot's stick shakers shook violently, indicating that the aircraft was about to stall. The air was now approaching the wing from such an angle that it could no longer flow smoothly over the top surface. The plane's speed was now a dangerously slow 110 knots, and it continued to decrease. At their current altitude of just 1,500 feet, a stall could easily be fatal. As the engine slowly spooled up to full power, the captain did the only thing he could to prevent a stall. He pushed the control column forwards to keep the nose low.
Good.
After a few moments, the engines had spooled up to over 80% of their maximum power. During a go-around in a jet like the 737, the increase in thrust from the low-hanging engines causes the plane to pitch up. That's because the plane rotates around its center of gravity, which is located above the engines. By increasing the thrust coming out from the engines, the plane naturally wants to swing up. For this reason, Boeing's Flight Crew Training Manual for the 737 warns against applying maximum power during a go-round at low speed. Boeing knew that pilots might instinctively do this if their speed had gotten too low, and they knew that it would lead to a situation where controlling the aircraft's pitch became very difficult. The pilots were now about to experience firsthand why this warning had been issued.
So maybe they're both relatively low time on the 7.3. Maybe they haven't experienced a super low speed go around at full thrust. But yeah, the underslung engines are going to cause the airplane to want to pitch up. You're going to have to run that trim forward, push the nose forward, and try to stay on top of it. But I'm interested to see how this happens. Dev says, why wouldn't you keep the flaps the same if you're nearly stalling? Well, he called for a go-around, Dev. So remember, they didn't actually stall first. So I can only relate this to the procedures that I had. Back on the bus, it was if you had a stall, it was stall, Toga, 15. So stall, your Toga thrust, and you're pitching for 15 degrees. You lower the nose or pitch for 15, period. You don't touch flaps. But in a go-around, it's go-around flaps. So so you're going to go around, flaps come up, positive rate gear up. So you change configuration in a go-around. You don't change configuration in a stall. The airplane was very close to stalling. Captain called for a go-around. Go-around probably calls for a configuration change. Let's see what happens.
As the engines reached the maximum power selected by the captain, the autopilot disconnected, and the pitch, now unshackled from the constraints of the autopilot, started to increase. The captain desperately tried to arrest this pitch up by pushing his control column all the way forwards.
Wow.
But this wasn't enough. All he could move with his control column were these tabs here, the elevators at the back of the horizontal
So it's
stabilizer.
so trimmed up.
The pitch down force they provided was simply not enough to counteract the massive pitch up generated by the thrust from the engines and the nose-high trim position which the autopilot had set previously. As the plane climbed, its speed...
That's why, if you watched the stream earlier, we're on a final approach where IMC, and I kept hearing stabilizer motion. I kept saying it makes me nervous when I hear that because I can't see what's happening, but I can hear that the stab is moving. Why is the stab moving? How far aft is the stab moving? That's also why there's some airplanes that have limitations that say if you're in icing conditions, do not use the autopilot. When I was flying freight, the Beech 99 was notorious for that, especially accumulating ice on the pod because you can't de-ice the pod. And if you had the autopilot on, the trim would be compensating for the increased drag and the decreased lift effectiveness. And then when you went to disengage the autopilot, the yoke would snap in your lap or snap forward, however it was trimming, and it would cause problems. You could lose control of the airplane. So kind of the similar thing happening here, although it's not icing conditions. It was because they got so slow that trim was running. Trim wheel kept running. And now they get to the stall, the autopilot disconnects, and now the yoke is just full free to go where it wants to go, pitches up. You got the thrust coming up as well. Now you're going to be nose high, full power, stick shaker going off. This is going to be one hell of a ride for these guys.
He decayed rapidly. The stick shaker activated again, indicating that the plane was perilously close to stalling. This was now a life and death situation.
You got to roll it over. I don't know if they do, if that's their procedure, but that used to be the procedure, and we still teach that to an extent, or at least in my previous operator. So this is a very bad situation. He's got the yoke full forward. Stick shaker's still going off. Stick shaker is impending stall. Stall can happen at any speed, right? They've exceeded the angle of attack. How do we lower the angle of attack if you can't push the nose forward anymore? there's a couple things you can do. You can bring the thrust back, which is super counterintuitive, right? But that'll get the angle of attack to lower. But then you have to recover your energy when you get on the other side of that. You're close, low to the ground. Probably going to be really hard to pull the power back. You can roll it over, right? So if you roll the aircraft, the nose is going to fall. If you roll, the nose falls, then you can get out of the stall. Tragic, absolutely terrible accident was the 747 out of Bagram. You could see the guys try to roll the aircraft because they took off, had the cargo shift, stall, nothing they could do, but you could see the airplane roll. And that was a roll induced by the crew to try to get the nose down so they could get out of the stall. See, that's part of our EET training, or at least it used to be part of my EET training, where you would actually do those super high AOA, nose high, low energy stalls. But we did these at high altitude. You start doing these 2,000 feet above the ground, whoo, buddy, you better be on it because you don't have a whole lot of wiggle room. Why not trim nose down? Well, and bomb tech, yes, be trimming nose down at the same time. At the same time, you'd be full forward on the yoke. Start running that trim. You better get that trim running. If it's still shaking on you, I might try to get a little roll in there. You never know. I don't know what the recovery procedure is on the 737-300, but either way, that's not a good situation when your control column is pegged forward and you're still getting a shaker.
In the cabin, the terrified passengers couldn't even see what was happening out their windows. They were simply pushed into their seats as the engines roared and the plane shook violently. But then for a moment, the plane began to stabilize. It appeared as if the captain's action of pushing the control column fully forward had slowed the plane's swing upwards. The stick shaker stopped and the plane's airspeed began to build. Now that they were flying fast enough for it to be safe, the first officer moved the flaps to the 15-degree position. However, the pilots were far from out of the woods yet. The plane was still pitched up at more than 20 degrees. The captain was holding his control column fully forwards, something that is basically never done, just in order to keep the plane from pointing up further. If anything changed, he would have no control over the aircraft's pitch. So, a few moments later, as the flaps retracted on the way up to 15 degrees, the aircraft began to pitch up at an even greater rate than before. In the stress of the moment, one of the pilots began unwittingly pushing the left rudder pedal. Now, the aircraft was not only pitching up, but it was beginning to roll to the left. As the flaps continued to retract, the pitch increased even further. The stick shaker now rattled the pilot's controls for a third time.
Jeez.
What more could the captain do? The engines were now providing more than enough thrust for the go-round, but the speed had gotten critically low because of the plane's extremely high pitch. The captain was already applying full nose-down elevator, and yet the aircraft continued to pitch even higher. The first officer called high pitch. The captain responded, saying that he was already pushing fully forwards on his control column. The first officer instinctively joined the captain on the controls, holding his control column at its forward stop. Both men pushed with all of their might, desperate to drop the nose and prevent a stall. But it made no difference. The elevators simply couldn't overcome the combined effects of the stabilizer trying to bring the nose up and the engines swinging the plane up around its center of gravity. The plane was now barely 2,000 feet above the ground. The aircraft continued its insane
low
trajectory,
altitude,
pitching up to over 36 degrees,
36
something that would
degrees.
never happen under normal circumstances. The speed had dropped to just 107 knots, and the pilot's unintentional rudder input had brought the aircraft's bank all the way to 22 degrees to the left. If this roll continued, the plane would soon tip over and nosedive towards the ground. Quickly, the captain pressed the right rudder sharply and leveled the wings. But the terrifying roller coaster ride continued. The aircraft continued pitching up until it reached 44 degrees.
Wow.
All of the pilots held their controls fully forward,
44
and the stick
degrees.
shakers vibrated. Then, the inevitable happened. Barely hanging on, at just 2,500 feet, the 737 stalled. The nose dropped immediately. However, this was not enough to restore a smooth airflow over the wings. In fact, the angle of
Clean
attack,
it up, get
that
it
is,
going,
the
clean
angle
it
that
up.
the oncoming air makes with the wings, only increased. The plane was now falling at such a rate that the air was coming from beneath it, rather than from in front. As a result of this, its airspeed continued to decrease to just 82 knots, unthinkably
Holy.
slow for a 737.
I cannot imagine 82 knots at 1,800 feet above the ground. Are you kidding me? These guys are fighting it here.
But the nose continued to drop. over the next 10 seconds, as the pitch reduced towards 20 degrees, the airspeed began to rise. The captain then did something highly counterintuitive, which he had learned in his training. He knew that a big part of the reason the plane had pitched up so much was that the engines were on high power. In order to stop this, he needed to reduce the thrust. It's not the easiest thing to do when you're already dangerously slow, but it was the only way to regain control of the plane at this critical moment. The captain brought the throttle levers back to 86%. The effect this had was immediate. The plane's nose dropped 15 degrees in just 2 seconds. Finally, the stall was over, and on this new lower power setting, the elevators had regained their effectiveness. Cautiously, the captain let the plane's airspeed build, as he held the nose at 5 degrees pitch up.
Perfect.
Shaken, the pilots raised the flaps in the gear and climbed to 4,000 feet.
Speed it up and clean it up. So you see what he realized it in. I mean, this all had to take course in less than a minute, probably, right? I mean, it took 10 seconds for the nose to fall, the stall, they're fighting, but it must have felt like forever for this going on. I can't imagine seeing your airspeed at 82 knots below 2,000 feet above the ground. But it clicked, right? He never gave up. One of the hazardous attitudes is resignation, where you just kind of give up. You're like, I don't know. You just, I don't know. I give up. Never gave up. He's been trying. He straightened the wings. He kept everything up. And then in his forethought and in his training, he's like, okay, why? I still have to fight this. I'm still flying. How do I get the airplane under control? How do I get the nose down? And he came to the thought, hey, bring the power back. And he only brought it down to 86%. That's great. Had he brought it to idle, who knows if that would have been, if they spooled all the way back down at 110 knots or so, would they be able to spool back up and climb away from the ground? So just to bring it down a little bit, 80-ish knots. And, that's great. That is a great maneuver. I mean, the dude's got 11,000 hours, even though he only has 400 in the 7.3. Experience does mean something. You can only imagine that in that 11,000 hours of flight time, he's probably, thought of that before, right? Maybe not in a 7.3, but like he's been through training enough times. Like, yeah, bring the power back. And this is something that we train. My last operator, we used to train this every year. Every 6 months, we'd go in the sim and we would do flying with the thrust levers and the rudder pedals. And you really can see how effective a little bit of thrust added or a little bit of thrust reduced really changes the pitch of the airplane. Now, that's on the bus. I can only imagine what it's like on a classic 7.3, but the principle is still the same. And this is, we're doing this in training now because people that, I don't know if they trained this back in in the 90s or whatever, but that's just a really good maneuver to get it recovered, get that nose down. Full Flap says, I happened to me once in a Hornet, stuck a AOA probe, rolled to 30 degrees, grabbed the ejection handle, nose came down, turned off the probe, and landed. Wow, dude. That's freaking crazy, man. Let's see. When the 7.3 is full forward, the airplane won't trim. Really? That's good to know. I didn't know that.
The first officer notified air traffic control of the go-round, and the captain brought the plane back around for another approach.
Dude, these guys got to be
As it turned out, the extra fuel that the captain had taken on at Faro had ended up being very useful, but just not for the reason that he'd anticipated. As the crew set themselves up for another approach, the first officer remarked to the captain that during the first approach, the autothrottle hadn't captured the speed it had been set to. What he didn't know was that it was worse than that. It wasn't that the autothrottle had just failed to capture the selected speed. Rather, it had actually disconnected. Surprisingly, this wasn't exactly an uncommon event. On this particular aircraft, the autothrottle disconnected by itself on 1 out of every 200 flights.
What?
This was a problem not just on this particular aircraft, but on this generation of 737s more generally. On this night, the disconnection just happened to occur at one of the most critical parts of the flight.
Oh my gosh.
Approach.
1 out of 200 flights. And this is what people, aviation is so safe now. Look at the 1 out of 200 flights. No way would that airplane be flying if that happened. If you had an airplane right now in 2025 that the auto thrust kept disengaging every 200 flights, thing wouldn't be
Serious questions were raised in the subsequent investigation about why the autothrottle disconnect warning had not been noticed by the pilots. Was the small visual indication enough to alert the crew during this high workload phase of flight?
Jack, it's pinned at the chat box.
The final report into this incident recommended that Boeing and the Federal Aviation Administration conduct a study on the efficacy of the Boeing 737-300, 400 and 500 autothrottle warning system and take any steps needed to improve crew alerting. Thanks to this, On modern 737s like the 737NG and 737 MAX, it's much more clear to the pilots when the autothrottle is disconnected. And, just as importantly, the autothrottles themselves are a lot more reliable. But ultimately, it is the pilot's responsibility to monitor the plane's flight path and to catch any malfunctions that occur. In this case, the crew failed to notice the speed dropping below the 135 knots they had selected. This led to the captain carrying out an extreme maneuver, which ultimately resulted in a stall close to the ground. But in a curious twist, while the captain's application of full thrust was against Boeing's recommendation, it was not against the training he received from his airline.
Really?
Thomson Fly's Quick Reference Handbook and Crew Operations Manual did not advise against using full thrust, nor did they advise that the pilots might need to use trim to control the aircraft's pitch during a go-round. This was a significant difference from Boeing's own guidance, and ultimately it led to a near-fatal accident. At 1 minute past 11 that night, Flight 3894 finally touched down at Bournemouth. Both passengers and pilots were shaken, but only the pilots were aware of how close they had truly come to disaster. This serious incident received little coverage in the press, but important changes resulted from it, both in terms of flight crew training and in terms of the reliability of warning systems. It is one of a number of similar incidents which have pushed aviation as a whole to be as safe as it is today.
American 357, Sinamir control, expect Talag 1 Alpha, runway 2.
Wow. Perfect timing. Hold on, we need to get things here. What are we doing? Yeah, we'll accept clearance. And we'll talk about that here in a second. I'm going to go back to full screen here. Where are we at? Let's get back up here on the flight deck. We're starting down here soon. So, my goodness. Hats off to the captain. I mean, the captain literally saved everybody on that airplane with a phenomenal display of airmanship in a high-stress situation at night. Everything's normal. That's one of those flights where it's like, you know, everything is fine. It's takeoff, cruise, descent, no issues whatsoever. And then you get on the final approach fix, 2,000 feet above the ground, and then all hell breaks loose. So to be able to catch it, get on it, not overreact, not resignate, not do anything catastrophic, not pull aft on the yoke. Like when you hear there have been accidents with the, before where crews have reacted to the stick shaker with pulling full aft. The Colgan Air flight is one of them. Had that captain or first officer pulled full aft at that indication of a stall, trying to get away from the ground, realizing how slow they were, I mean, they would have been toast. They only had one right course of action, and they accomplished it. That's insane. I can't believe that was common. 1 in 200 flights, no audio warning at all, just beep, disconnects from you. Well, I'm very glad we watched that green dot, because now for the rest of my 737 career, guess what I'm going to be looking at? Those lights right there. Auto throttle, an FMC message, auto throttle, autopilot, right there. Man, I'm glad we watched that. All right, we're coming up on the top of descent. All right, we'll report ready for descent. We got to prep for this approach here. Let's get things dialed in here. Man, we crushed this flight. Man, we need to do longer flights for green dots. That was a short green dot too. Talag 1 Alpha.
American 357, Talag 1 Alpha, runway 2, report ready.
10,000 at Talag. Roger, we'll start down soon.
Talag 1 Alpha, runway 2, call when ready, American 357.
Alright, we're going to set 10,000 feet up here. And we're going to look at a couple things here in the box. Alright, you can go ahead and tell them we're ready for descent.
American 357, ready for descent.
Let's see, emit ref speed 141 even. We're going to be flaps 40, 138.
2,000 feet, QNH 1019.
12,000 he says.
2,000 feet, American 357.
Alright, 12,000 feet, VNAV path.
American 357, contact Taguchi Alpha, approach 126.7.
Alright, so this will be an RNAV, so we're going to be LNAV, VNAV all the way in.
Approach 126.7, American 357.
the approach for 02 from the north. Melville 9000.
Flight level 350 with information Romeo.
I think we're Cat D aircraft. I don't think this survives for Cat D. Cat C or Cat D in 73? 4429.
QNH 1019er expect the RNAV runway 02 with the Melville transition. American 357.
I'll hold this here for a while. To be fair, they should have prevented getting that far into the situation, being aware of their speed earlier, and the aggressive application of thrust getting those up low on airspeed. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to sit here from our computer and say that's what they should have done, that Monday morning quarterback. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They should have seen the red light flashing. But the fact of the matter is they didn't see the red light flashing, and they executed a go-around. So that's where it's kind of, you're like, well, why did he go full thrust? They weren't stalling when they went around. He called for a go-around because he saw the airplane getting slow. The procedure for a go-around is go-around, right? Go-around Toga, whatever it is. So they obviously they complied with the go-around procedure. You know, that's one of those scenarios where if you said, hey, if you put that crew in that same situation, but instead of saying go-around, they said, hey, stall, stall, what would they have done differently? Would they have not brought the thrust all the way up? So, you know, you never know, and it's always easy to sit here in Monday morning quarterback crews, but the fact that they recovered the way they did says a lot about their airmanship. But yes, obviously there were things missed. The red light was missed. The changing of pitch attitude, that's one thing, you know, and it's probably stems from all of these incidents and accidents that I've read and learned about over the years, is whenever I'm on approach in the Airbus, especially IMC, because visual references you can see what's happening, but IMC, I always pay very close attention to the angle of attack of the aircraft. What is the airplane doing? What's our pitch attitude? Is it normal? You know, I have some mental checks going on my brain while I'm on the approach. Now I don't know how that's going to be when I fly the 7.3. I hope I'm sure I'll bring that over. I might fly with my FPV up a little bit, you know. So the bus was very good. You could see your angle of attack all the time with the flight path vector up. And I always do mental check. 1,000 feet, what's our descent rate? What's our power? What's our pitch? 500 feet, same thing. Power, pitch, and an AOA. Like, I'm like, okay, 500 feet, everything looks the same. All right. And then, you know, coming across the fence, you know, that should be, everything is pretty much normal. But IMC, 1,000 feet and 500 feet, and especially between 1,000 and 500, my eyes are looking at the PFD. What is our pitch attitude? What's our power setting? And the Airbus, you don't really have any, there is no trim, right? There's trim, but it's all fly-by-wire, it's all electric. But you fly airplanes, I remember the Beech 99, you hear the trim going, you're like, why is the trim moving? Flying the MD-11 in the sim, stabilizer motion, that makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck every time I hear that approach. It's funny we watched this green dot tonight, because if you watched my stream earlier today, on approach, I literally said, man, hearing the stabilizer motion makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck, because I don't know if something's going on hardware with my niche hardware. Is my niche hardware doing something that's causing the trim to run full half? And when I go disengage the autopilot, is this thing going to just skyrocket on me? You know, and if it pitches up at 2,000 feet, with your low power, you're going to stall roll, and you're going to be, that's it. So, yeah. A diaper change, indeed. Do you 737s have AOA gauge right on the top right of the PFD? I actually don't know, Wingnut. Let me look at my cockpit poster to see if it's displayed. Let me see. I do. It is on our cockpit poster. So that's an option in here. Let me turn that on. That's PMDG, setup, aircraft, displays, AOA dial on. Wait, no, it should be on. There it is. Yeah, it's on. It's on. Did I have it on? Yeah, so according to our cockpit posters that I just looked up, we do have the AOA dial there. So I guess, you know, you could look at that. You get comfortable with that. You get a little bit of speed brake here. You get comfortable with this or the flight path vector. I almost wonder if we should rock the HUD tonight. Turn down that HUD brightness. I'm not qualified on the HUD yet. How do I go? IMC, VMC. We are VMC primary. What mode should I have this on for an RNAV approach? Maybe. Seems like a whole lot of information. Yeah, we do have HUDs, BobTech. And I will get HUD training, and I'll do actually a HUD sim, which is pretty cool. Now, the captain uses the HUD in the real aircraft, but because we're doing PIC type rides, you got to get the HUD checked. If you use 5 degrees for flaps 30, it flies really consistently. VREF is usually slightly off, makes you wonder how accurate load control is. That's an interesting thought. So at 5 degrees, flaps... Wait, no, so if you use 5 degrees for flaps 30... Really? So AOA 5 degrees, go flaps 30 or be at flaps 30? I'm going to mental note of that. Alright, 29er, 9er, 8 is set. We're out of 18,000 feet. Turnoffs are on. Fixed lights are on. Wing lights on. Seatbelt sign is coming on. We'll turn the logo on as well. The only thing I don't like is it blares this view out. I gotta make it like that. There we go. Resave that view. Beautiful. Wow, this flight went by quick. Have we seriously flew all the way to Tegucigalpa? Alright, let's rock and roll. Alright, descent checklist. Altimeter's transition level. Hold on, first we'll come up here, we'll do a little flow. Yeah, engine NS set, that's set. Pressurization, landing altitude is set. Okay. Altimeters, 29er, 9er, 8. Approach preparation completed. Pressurization check. Terrain display is selected. Lights are set. Descent checklist complete. HJR, what's up, man? Hayden J. Robbins, the speed bed. What's going on, my man? Landing light JPEG bloom, 100% AJ. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I think that looks awesome. I think that looks amazing, to be honest with you. I want the livery creators to get a hold of this. I want Astrojet, man. After seeing Fly Navy's Astrojet today on stream, best American livery ever, and probably best 737 livery ever. I don't know of a better livery on a 737 better than Astrojet. I'm trying to think of one. I just don't know. I don't know if there's a better one than Astrojet. All right, we're coming up to 13 for 12. All right, Talag, and these are all at or aboves, but these can get you in trouble, right? Should I make some of these hard altitudes? Mellow, the ARC, 637. Descent speed, target. We're going to slow this down. I want to slow down to 240 right now. Execute. Larry's World, what's going on, man? How's your training going? It's good, man. I finished the easy part. I finished the Death by PowerPoint 2 weeks of training. Now I'm in my home studies simulation training until I go back to Sims come January. So I am in home study, and I'm taking you along with me for the ride. We are slowly but surely getting better at flows and checklists. Once we get confident with all that, we'll do some more in-depth stuff. But there we go. Got to change the channel bio soon. There you go. AirCal is nice, but it's not bare metal, you know? It's not bare metal. We're going to do auto brakes 3. Alright, Talab. What are our max speeds on this approach? There's some initial approach 250. Final approach max 165. Right now, init ref speed is 137. Okay, I always forget on the init ref page. Do I add 5 to this? Do I make this 40/142? 9,000.
Descend to 9,000 feet, QNH-1019er, American 357.
9,000.
American 357, cleared direct Menbo. Cross Menbo at or above 9,000 feet. Cleared RNAV runway 02.
Do you recommend a checklist for the 7-3? I'm trying to use the checklist that I have printed, but I don't have any particular one that I think you should use. I know if you're into the, virtual airlines, Virtual United, Virtual American, they have 737 checklist. I can't remember, I'm drawing a blank. We don't add 5 in the box. We add the 5 in the speed window. Okay. So I'm going to leave that at 137, and then I'll add that in the speed window if I need to. But I need to slow down. I want to slow down in the box here, so I have to manually put this in. I want to come back to 180 right now. Or let's do 210. Target speed 210. All right, we're through 10,000 feet AFE, so the rest of the lights are coming on. APU, if required, is going to stay off, actually. Our lights are set. And I think we do this thing again. Crack a speed brake here. Get our full screen cam up. Hey, Zippy Jr., Turk in the U.S. there, the way we do it here is actually split, bruh. So, I know you got a lot of 7-3 time, but that's not how we do it here. Zippy, you have a son. You have a son, Zippy. Will you tell this guy Zippy Zapple? Will you tell Zippy Jr. that he needs to chill? There's only one room. There's only enough room for one Zippy, and it's the OG Zippy Zapple. Mr. Turk in the U.S. over there. He's got to settle down. Zippy, what's your Zippy actual? What's your status on a home cockpit build? Have you priced out a full cockpit yet? All right, 9,000. Let's keep coming down. VNAV path. We're gonna set 4,500. I printed a picture and I cry in the evenings. Caress it gently. Oh, man. You're up late, Zippy. Shoot, it's got to be like early morning for you right now. All right, flaps 5. Here it comes. 1, 2, 5. Sounds are coming up. I have instrument check right on Wednesday. Good luck on the new type, Pilot Hamilton. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Good luck to you, my friend, on that instrument check ride. You're going to crush it, dude. Remember, be confident. If the airplane is doing something you don't want it to do, get in there and fix it now. Not later, now. And you're going to be just fine, man. You own that airplane. You're the PIC. All right, I'm going to start. Should I start the recording? I'll start the recording a little bit. It's almost 1 a.m., but it's Friday. That's true, Zippy. Are you flying right now? Are you in flight, Zippy? You got to be flying. I have 4 legs left in my current flight on my mini GA. Most of Euro 2. I'm going to finish mine before you even start yours.
Toga, Tower American 357, RNAV runway 02.
Flaps 5.
Wind 340 at 8. Runway 02 cleared to land.
Oh my gosh, recording is on. The flaps look so good at low light. Wow. I'm leaving the speed window closed. I'm stressing, leaving it closed. Alright, let's go gear down. Speed brake arm. Flaps 15. We are recording. Just gonna hold it like that for right now. This looks awesome. So freaking cool, man. Should get the cockpit a little bit, I guess. All right. We need to go here, and we need to go 142. Flaps 25, flaps 30. And flaps 40. Before landing checklist, approach briefing completed, seatbelts on, PAs complete, recall checked, auto brakes 3, HUD set, radios and displays set and cross check, speed brake armed, green light, gear down 3 green, flaps 40, green light. Before landing checklist complete. Alright, I'm going to hand fly this now. Autopilot's off. So, Potter, thanks for the $5 super chat, man. Appreciate you, my dude. Alright, flight director's off. Airport's in sight.
All aircraft be advised information Sierra now current.
Approaching minimums.
18.
1,000.
Need to get down.
Minimums.
Landing. Oh, there's no way.
Sync rate.
Check.
Full up.
We were too high.
Full up. Sync
That ain't
rate.
gonna work, Chief. Alright, go around. Alright, go around. Flaps 15. Positive rate, gear up. Gear up, please, not bound. You need to keep climbing. I never said go around altitude. 9,000. Command A. N1 MCP speed. LNAV. Plug up there 210. Flaps 5. Flaps 1. Karma's a bitch, isn't it, Wingnut? Flaps up to stow that. Alright, level change 210. Going around.
American 357 on the go.
Thank you, Wingnut, for the go round unstable super chat. Appreciate you.
Fly the published missed approach procedure. American 357.
Alright, up and off. We'll leave auto brakes 3. Now I gotta figure out how to resequence everything here.
Contacting
Chat, we just entered unknown territory. We just entered unknown 737 territory.
American 357, 6,900.
Even Stevie Wonder saw that coming. Thank you, 3 greens. I know, man. I know. It's alright. I'm gonna do better next time. I'm gonna do better next time. I promise.
American
I'm
357.
gonna save that replay. MHTG, go around. Man, I gotta go home and be doing hot cocoa. Alright, how do I set this box up again?
Clear direct Melva.
On
across
a
Melva
0
at
to
or above
Melva.
9,000 feet.
Next
Clear
to
nav runway
legs.
02, American 357.
No, we gotta go straight out. Heading select. I gotta get past Melvo. I'm gonna fly this heading. I'm gonna fly out here and heading mode for a second. We're gonna come left. I'm gonna resequence around for Melvo. How are we looking on gas? 6.0. We're looking good. We're looking good. All right, 210, 9,000. Let's do a after takeoff. Flaps up, no lights. Gear is off. Auto brake is off. Reset to 3. We need it. Air conditioning, bleeds, and pressurization. They're set. Anti-ice APU is required. All right, after takeoff check is complete. All right, we're going to come back around here to Melvo. I'm going to swing out to the left and then we'll redirect it. That was a lot of work for a go-around. I wish I could just do a procedure turn at Melvo. But I don't know. I don't possess the knowledge for that, so we'll do this. I've got to reload it up for Melvo inbound. I'm going to fly past Melvo here, and then we'll make a right turn back into Melvo to shoot the approach. We can do steeper approach. I would have been fine, Vodka. I'm going to have to set my view to the side so I can see. That's what got me, is I couldn't see where the runway was, and it got me. Alright. Let's go FD1, FD2, and we're looking good. Alright. Let's do this. Let's do this turn. Let's execute this. I'm going to turn around. To the right. All the way back around to the right to Melvo for the approach. I literally sent the same super chat to Full Flap Sim on his stream earlier. It's lower than. Is it lower than sim volume? It probably is. It's. I think it's the sound pack, man. It has like a louder cockpit ambiance sound. I guess I should have this on. Where's the? Where's the headset? I should have that on. There you go. Now you should hear me better. Melvo, bring it to the top, execute. All right, Melvo at or above 9, execute, LNAV, VNAV. I don't want 250 though, I want 210 still. Don't speed up, don't speed up, don't speed up. How can I change that from speeding up? I don't know. If it had an eyebrow window. Alright, we're back LNAV, VNAV path. I want to be in descent mode. I'll do descent now. Execute. There we go, 210 MCP. Now I can go. How do I get rid of you? Be on VNAV, VNAV, VNAV path. There we go. Look at that. Look at, we're figuring out Boeing stuff. We're figuring it out. Flaps 5, here we go. We're figuring it out. But see, I can't hear my flaps with that headset on. Alright. We saved that one. We're going to get ready to record the next one. If only you had something that dropped down and told you the flight path. I know, right? But this doesn't tell me... Wait, is that the airport? No. I'll leave the HUD up for a little bit. Wingnut, is there a HUD approach? Is there like an RNAV approach mode for the HUD? We need to start down. Flaps 15. But I want to stay at this speed. I'm going to take over this speed here real quick. Maintain 170. I don't like this. I feel like I'm in a tunnel. HUD's your captain problems. I feel like we should be going down. I'm not going down. Why are we not going down? Should we not be descending? What's going on here? It's a gear more because we're at idle thrust. Fine. I'll throw the gears. I don't have to listen to you. Don't tell me you're going to climb back up there. Gear down to flaps 15. Whoops. I thought we were at flaps 15 on the last approach there. It's alright, we'll figure it out. Comes our VNAV.
American 357. Contact on Content Tower 118.7. Bye-bye.
Here comes this.
Over to Tower 118.7. American 357. Take care. Toncontin Tower, American 357, RNAV runway 02.
Flaps 40,
American
136
357,
plus
Toncontin
5
Tower,
would be
wind
141.
010 at 4, runway 02 cleared to land.
Runway 02 cleared to land, American 357.
Alright, here we go. Down we go. Try this again. VNAV disconnect. Why it disconnected? Because we got slow maybe? Flaps 40. All right, here we go. Round 2. $5.2 in the fuel. Man, that burned 1,000 pounds. Nice. This looks sick. All right, 141. Let's do our before landing. Approach brief complete. Seatbelts on. PA's completed. Recall. Check. Auto brakes 3. HUD set. Radios and displays set and cross check. Speed brakes. Armed green light. Gear down 3 green. Flaps 40 green light. Before landing check is complete. Flaps 40 green light's a sick call, man. I like that. Sounds pretty decent. All right, here we go. Replay, record is on. This HUD is tripping me out. Because you have to disconnect the autopilot here. Autopilot's off. So just, do I keep flying the donut and the donut up here? Even though I'm on a... Oh, no, I clicked it off there. Oh, that's like a hidden HUD click spot. That's cool. Let's set go around altitude 9,000. Going altitude 9,000 set for the next one. Alright, we're 3.5 degrees on this. Fly the donut, baby. Fly the donut. Is the donut going to turn? No, that's my question. Keep my view a little bit off center here so I can see the runway. Oh no, Bluebird 7.5. That's what we're doing, chat. We're doing this flight when the Bluebird 7.5 drops. Bare metal, American, no winglets. No practice, no winglets. First flight, Bluebird 7.5.
Minimums.
Continue. See, is my donut basket is turning. I don't trust the donut basket.
500.
Dude, this is freaking wild. Oh my word. These things don't come down here, do they? I think this airport's closed, right? They use that other airport now. Oh my word, chat. We're making it. We're going to make it. Keep coming down.
Sync rate.
Sync rate check. Auto throttle's mine.
Sync rate.
That's associated. It's associated with
Sync
our
rate.
landing situation.
Sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate.
Could you imagine doing this in a
Sync rate.
757?
Sync rate. 30. 20.
Oh!
10.
I'm looking at the damn HUD. I don't know where to land. I don't know where to land with the HUD up there, dude. That is so trippy. I need training on that sucker. Keep that off. Chad, are we gonna stop? We land them all. Are we gonna stop? 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 Are we gonna stop?
American 357, exit next available taxiway.
Holy.
Exit next available taxiway,
Alright.
American 357.
That was sick. I was Fly Guy. I was standing on him from freaking halfway up through that touchdown roll. I was literally just had my brake pedals locked up, dude. Probably saw the disconnect light.
American 357, contact ground 121.9.
Chat. Hit the like button for this.
Ground 121.9.
Hit the like button. We only have 200 likes on a night Tonconting flight. Come on now. That was absolutely epic. Alright, flaps are coming up. Lights are coming up. This airplane is sick. I mean, this airplane is freaking sick. There's no way 7.3 comes here, right? A freaking 7.5. Imagine that. Imagine being such a badass airplane. Come down here like butter.
Are
Who's
you
that,
more at the
Fred?
edge of a go-around when landing an aircraft for the first time coming out of training, especially with passengers? Or do you just want to get it done on the ground?
You just got to comply with your SOPs, man. As long as you comply with your SOPs and you're stable, everything is going to take care of itself, man. Thanks for the bank angle check, but yeah, you don't want to go around on your first approach. I've only had 2 first approaches in a 121 airplane, but both of them landed successfully. So we'll have. I'm going to add a 3rd one here soon. I'll let you know if I go around or not. Yeah, 3 greens. I hope he's not either. Captain CMEL to brake stain. Is there a brake temperature gauge window? I thought I saw a menu for that, or an option for that. Let me look at my menu. PMDG setup, options, simulation, checklist, middle. You know what? I probably should have had short field performance on this airplane. That probably would have been a good idea. It's on the system page. Aircraft equipment. Oh, sys page here. Sys page. Yeah, look at that. Brake temps. Does that mean 500? Does that mean 500 already? No. What does 5.1 mean? Sizzling. Yeah, that was greater than 4 feet per minute. I'll have to check the vertical stream here. Oh my, yeah, it was way more than that. It was way more than that. Don't look at the vertical stream, guys. Don't look there. It's way more than that. It's like 4 times times a lot. Oh, click and drag got me. Stuck. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I got Christmas trees to decorate. Alright, we're not going to shut it down because the shutdown sounds are kind of... About to brag, I would made first exit in the 146. Thank you for the super chat, man. You definitely would have, man. The 146 is no joke. That's what this airport is ready for, is a 146. Should take the RJ85 in here, man. Thanks for the super chat. Chaos is in the house. How you doing, my man? Been a long time no see, Chaos. Hope all is well, dude. All right. Live full screen chat. And let's do replay. I'm going to stop that recording. I'm going to save it. MHTG landing. but we're going to watch the go around first. We'll disconnect from beyond ATC. Alright. Here's the go around. We won't watch this full approach, we'll just watch the go around. We'll let the airplane configure here. Whew. Is your left brake pedal connected? Yeah, it should be. Wait, yours doesn't have a brake temperature there on the system page? Go around. Cost me hot chocolate and Christmas trees. Alright, run it forward. Yada yada. Alright, here we go. Resume. Let's watch this with the sounds all the way up. Let's see what the passengers heard. Take it easy. I'm working over. See you, buddy. I'll start getting this on.
Minimums.
Yeah, I didn't keep coming down. Man, we really need chase plane for this. Passenger heard chat, we're cooked. Yeah, turning, yanking and banking. Not enough bank. Not enough yank. Not enough yank on that bank. Sink rate. Nice. That's pretty cool. Alright, in the go around, we did our thingy. Alright, let me load the landing. Alright, here's the landing. Approach number 2. You can watch this from the jump seat perhaps for a minute.
Minimums.
I'm going to let you watch one replay. Sails coming on. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this Friday night. Hope you enjoyed this flight. We're definitely going to come back and do this again. We're going to do it in the 7.5, and we're probably going to have to come back here with a short film performance package and make up for this go around. But until then, enjoy the replays. I'll let you have one more here after we make this turn. And I will see y'all not tomorrow, not Sunday. I'm picking up a puppy allegedly, maybe. I don't know. Hopefully we'll see. 300 foot per minute. I may not see you till next week. So enjoy your weekend. If I don't see you, I'll see you next week. Stay safe. Stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya. Oh, that looked better than Fly Navy's landing. That was better than Wingnut's landing earlier. Time. Maybe we do have short field performance. See, look, we actually do have it installed. All our spoilers are on. Just we're cooking the reverser. Wow. Paid for runway? Use all runway. Alright. Have one more here on the foul turn. I'll catch you guys later. See ya. That was so awesome.